Chapter 26. Suan opened the treasure chest. Akira, a dazzling light bloomed from the treasure chest. When the light dissipated, Suan saw 6 feathers in the treasure box. Health Wing, a secret treasure used for Pokémon, which can slightly increase the basic HP value of a Pokémon. Muscle Wing, a secret treasure used for Pokémon, which can slightly increase the basic attack value of a Pokémon. Resist Wing, a secret treasure used for Pokémon, which can slightly increase the basic defense value of a Pokémon. Genius Wing, a secret treasure used for Pokémon, which can slightly increase the base individual value of a Pokémon's special attack. Clever Wing, a secret treasure used for Pokémon, which can slightly increase the basic special defense value of a Pokémon. Swift Wing, a secret treasure used for Pokémon, which can slightly increase the basic speed of a Pokémon. Good stuff. Suan's eyes suddenly lit up when he looked at these 6 feathers. If these 6 feathers are all used on a Pokémon with average individual values, it can be brought to the 6v contest condition in an instant. Having a full individual value means that the Pokémon must have great potential. Trapinch, Snivy. Suan called Trapinch and Snivy in front of him. Hucky. Deny. Suan gave the Clever Wing to Trapinch and the Resist Wing to Snivy. Trapinch tilted his head, opened his mouth and swallowed Clever Wing directly. When Snivy just touched the Resist Wing, he saw that the Resist Wing turned into a point of light and then melted into Snivy's body. Tip Trapinch absorbed Clever Wing, and Trapinch's special defense individual value increased by 1 point. Trapinch gained energy from the Clever Wing, and Trapinch's level was raised to level 30. Race, Trapinch Attribute, Ground Level, 30 Ability, Macamp Pliers Individual Value Qualifications, HP, 31, Attack, 31, Defense, 31, Special Attack, 31, Special Defense, 31, Speed, 31, Skills, Sand Shaking, Laser Focus, Dig, Bite, Gust, Double Team, Mud Slap, Sand Tomb, Bulldoze. Hereditary Skills, Quick Attack, Earth Power. At the same time, Snivy's body suddenly emitted a dazzling white light. Snivy absorbed the Resist Wing, and Snivy's defense value increased by 1 point. Snivy absorbs the energy from the Resist Wing, and Snivy evolves. Servine Comprehended Leech Seed, Servine Comprehended Leaf Storm. After the light, Ching Ching Servine, who was originally petite, seemed to have suddenly grown up into normal. Snivy's original height was less than half a meter, but now he is nearly 1 meter tall. Suan looked at Servine's current data. Race, Servine Attribute Grass Level, 20 Ability, to sing the opposite tune Individual Value Qualifications, HP, 31, Attack, 31, Defense, 31, Special Attack, 31, Special Defense, 31, Speed, 31, Skills, Tackle, Leer, Vine Whip, Wrap, Clear Mist, Leaf Storm. Hereditary Skills, Grassy Terrain, Magical Leaf. Congratulations, Servine. Suan looked very happy at Servine. Not only did Servine successfully evolve, but he also comprehended Leaf Storm. Among all the grass-type skills, Leaf Storm is definitely among the best in terms of damage performance. The only problem with Leaf Storm is that it reduces the Pokémon's special attack power after use. However, Servine's ability to play Devil's Advocate is not only unaffected by this effect, but actually enhances the power of his own skills. For Servine, who has the ability to play Devil's Advocate, this is Servine's absolute trump card skill. Deny. Servine didn't seem to be in a good mood because Servine suddenly noticed that Suan's arm was bleeding. Deny. Servine looked at Suan anxiously and shouted. Suan looked sideways at his arm. Hiss. After the adrenaline rush, Suan finally felt pain. These wounds were almost caused by the splashing mud when Suan was protecting Snivy. Hucky. Trapinch looked at Suan's dirty appearance and felt a little guilty. Okay, it has nothing to do with you. Suan looked at Trapinch and Servine and said relaxedly, it's just a few minor injuries, nothing serious. Let's go. Servine quickly stepped forward and helped Suan up. Sunny Shore Secret Realm, inside the third camp. Please bear with it, it hurts a little. The nurse in the camp whispered to Suan and then used physiological brine to clean away the foreign objects, such as mud and other things, on Suan's arm. Are you going to fight yourself? Miss Nurse asked while cleaning the wound on Suan's arm. Suan shook his head slightly, no. Will this injury to rival's arm have any impact? Will not. Miss Nurse started to apply the medicine. It only takes a few days to heal, and there won't be any scars. Hearing this, Suan said to Trapinch and Servine who were lying next to them, "Look, I said everything will be fine." Hakatana. Servine was relieved. Miss Nurse glanced at Servine and then said, "Have you blocked Pokemon's skills? It's not that exaggerated. It just blocks the aftermath of the skill." Miss Nurse looked at Suan speechlessly, "Even this is very dangerous." Tana. Servine nodded. Suan smiled, "Yes, I won't do it next time." Nurse looked at Servine and Trapinch. "It seems you have a trainer who cherishes you very much." After saying this, Miss Nurse cut off the gauze that was being wrapped around Suan's arm. "It will be dismantled in 3 days. If you are not worried, you can go to the nearest hospital for a checkup." "Okay, thank you." Suan stood up. "Trapinch, Servine, let's go." Hakatana. Chapter 27. Suni Shore City Harbor. Finally home. Suan stepped off the boat and stretched out his body. There are many taxis parked outside the harbor ready to pick up passengers. Suan got into the car. "Master, go to Suni Shore Garden." "Okay." The driver responded and then started the car. Suan opened the circle of friends and took a look at everyone's current situation. Most of the people in the circle of friends are showing off their Pokémon. Many people take advantage of the holidays to travel around the world with their Pokémon. The one who ran the farthest was Zhang Yuan. Her position is at the North Pole. Suan's comment, "Why did it travel so far?" There are also people, like Suan, who want to conduct special training during the summer vacation to try to get a place in the school. While Suan was brushing his hair, Zhang Yuan responded to Suan's comment just now. Zhang Yuan, "Hey, of course I'm going to meet Rayquaza, if I'm lucky." "Rayquaza?" Suan was shocked. "Rayquaza is in the North Pole?" Zhang Yuan, "Yes, haven't you watched the news?" Suan immediately opened the Pokémon News Network. The first hot search item, countdown to the opening ceremony of the region competition. The Celestial Dynasty was divided into 5 regions based on geographical location: Southeast, Northwest, and Middle. Take Zhang Province as an example. Zhang Province is located in the eastern region. The opening ceremony is held on September 1st every year. Those who own 6 Pokémon and get the Eastern Region 8 Avenue Hall badge can participate in the competition. The winner of the region can challenge for the Elite 4 position. Above the Elite 4 is the ultimate goal of all trainers: Region Champion, Pokémon Master. Of course, this goal is still too far away for Suan. After all, Suan's current team has not yet been assembled. Hot Search Item 2, the latest fossil Pokémon Thunderbird. Since the advent of fossil resurrection technology, new fossil Pokémon have been resurrected every 2 years. Suan looked at the comments below. Fat or not, Thunderbird? New Dragon-type Pokémon? Is it as strong as Dragonite? The college entrance examination happens every year, and this year came to my house. This Pokémon shouldn't be included in the college entrance examination, right? I can't finish it, I really can't finish it. Ditto House, please come to me for breeding. Suan liked Ditto House's review. The third hot search item. Rayquaza emerges from the Arctic Circle. This news was released more than 20 days ago, and it is still very popular. Suan clicked in and took a look. The news said that staff at the Ecological Research Base in the Arctic Circle witnessed a battle between Rayquaza and a mysterious Pokémon. After Rayquaza achieved victory, he disappeared. Mysterious Pokémon. It can't be Deoxys, can it? Suan muttered. Suan searched for other revelations on the internet, but found nothing. "Brother, we're here." The driver stopped the car. "Thanks." Suan paid and got off the bus. In the elevator. Ding dong! As soon as the elevator door opened, Suan saw Rotom floating at the door. "Welcome home, Roto." Suan looked at Rotom, who came out to greet him, and said with a smile, "Long time no see, Rotom." "Come out, Trapinch, Servine." Huka Trapinch said hello to Rotom. Welcome. Rotom floated in front of Servine, "And this lady?" "Tana, let's go, let's take a shower together." Trapinch didn't like soaking in water, so Suan first rinsed Trapinch's body with the shower head, and then wiped it dry with a towel. Hucky. After Trapinch dried his body, he immediately ran out of the bathroom. Huka Trapinch ran happily on the floor, and then jumped on the sofa. Huka Trapinch looks quite comfortable. The leaves on Servine need to be regularly taken care of and kept clean, so that Servine can better absorb sunlight, so Servine doesn't care about taking a bath with Sue and Suan lay on his back in the bathtub. Comfortable. Probably the most comfortable thing when returning home from a trip is to take a scald bath and then lie in bed without thinking about anything. Tana. Suan looked at Servine, who was soaking in the water, and asked, "Do you want my help?" Servine took a peek at Suan's body soaked in the water, and then turned his face away as if shy. Tana. Servine stepped out of the bathtub and stood under the shower head. Tana. Servine used 2 vine whips. One vine whip grabbed the shower head and the other side turned on the switch. Wow! Suan lay on the edge of the bathtub and smiled while looking at Servine rinsing under the shower head. You adapt quickly, Servine. Servine's learning ability is obviously very strong. He just watched Suan's operation of rinsing the trapinch and already learned how to use the shower head. In front of the mirror, Suan took out a hair dryer and blew her hair. Tana. Servine looked at the hair dryer in Suan's hand curiously. Come up. Suan pulled up a chair and sat down, patting his legs. Servine jumped onto Suan's lap. Phew, is this wind and temperature okay? Suan shook the hair dryer in his hand. Deny. Servine seemed to be enjoying the air from the hair dryer. After drying his body, Suan came to the bedroom and threw himself directly on the bed. A feeling of exhaustion came over me. Suan fell asleep. Tana. Servine looked at Suan's room for a while, then used vine whip to close the curtains and cover Suan with a quilt. Tana. Servine jumped on the bed and got under the quilt. Deny. Servine approached Suan and also fell asleep. Rado, what do you want for dinner? Rodom drifted into the room and lowered his voice. Rodom looked at Suan and Servine, who were sleeping on the bed, and smiled. It seems that everyone is working hard, Rado. Chapter 28. Rumble. Soaring in the sky there was a muffled thunder. Suan opened his eyes, and the room was dark. Suan looked at the time. It was 2 o'clock in the morning and it was raining heavily outside. It's very embarrassing to wake up at this time. I can't fall asleep if I continue to sleep. It seems like there is nothing to do. Suan opens the chat software. Zhonghang and Shen Yu both sent messages to Suan. The message was sent around 8 o'clock. They asked Suan if they wanted to go to the Pokémon arcade to play together tomorrow. Suan's original plan was to take Trapinch and Servine to play for a few days before school started, so he agreed. Tana. Servine rubbed his eyes and sat up from the quilt. Suan looked at Servine and said softly, "Did I wake you up?" Servine shook his head and rubbed his belly. Tana. Hungry? Servine nodded. Then let's go get something to eat. Suan walked out of the room with Servine. In the living room, Trapinch lay on the sofa and slept soundly. Shhh. Suan raised his finger at Servine, then walked gently into the kitchen and opened the refrigerator. Rado. As soon as Suan opened the refrigerator, Rodom ran out from inside. Rodom can freely shuttle among various home appliances. Suan's Rodom likes to sleep in the refrigerator during summer. Can you help me, Rado? It's okay, just rest. There are tree fruits in the refrigerator. Suan made Servine a fruit salad using tree fruits. The method is very simple. Suan cuts the fruit into pieces, then pours a bottle of yogurt into it and mixes it together before eating. In the living room, Trapinch's nose twitched and he sat up from the sofa. As soon as Suan walked out of the kitchen with the fruit salad, he saw Trapinch looking at him longingly. Suan was immediately happy. Good guy, such a heavy thunderstorm outside didn't wake you up, but you woke up when you smelled the food. Trapinch smiled innocently. Okay, wait. Suan had something to eat with everyone, and then sat on the sofa together, listening to the sound of rain and watching movies, which was quite comfortable. Time passes slowly. 10 a.m., Sunny Shore Pokémon Arcade. The Pokémon Arcade has many machines that both humans and Pokémon can play with. Therefore, there are not only many people in the arcade city, but also many Pokémon. Tana. Trapinch and Servine followed Suan. They looked around curiously as soon as they entered the arcade. The girl with a Pico lying on her shoulder was looking nervously at the Pikachu doll in the claw machine. Machop and his trainer are playing with shooting. A pair of people who looked like a couple walked into the small sing room with an Iglibuff. Everyone looked happy. Suan walked into the arcade and immediately noticed Zhonghang and Shen Yu. Ui, Bui Shenyu, Chenting, and their EV were dancing on the dance machine, and many people gathered around to watch. The energetic high school girls dancing with cute Pokemon like Eevee are quite eye-catching in the arcade. Pidgey Pidgey, who was standing on Zhang Hang's shoulder, noticed Suan and reminded Zhang Hang. Here he comes. Zhang Hang looked at Suan and said hello, and then said to Servine next to Suan, is this the Snivy you conquered? It looks like it's growing very well, it's so big. Zhang Hang said and waved to Servine, hello, Snivy. Deny. Servine glanced at Zhang Hang and didn't want to pay attention to him. Suan smiled and said, do you think it is possible that this is not Snivy, but Servine? Zhang Hang was stunned for a moment. You caught another Servine. Forward. Suan was ashamed. Hey, Suan, has your Snivy evolved? Shen Yu stepped off the dance machine and looked at Servine next to Suan in surprise. Suan nodded slightly, well, it just evolved not long ago. Here I go, it turns out it has evolved. Zhang Hang suddenly looked envious. I don't know when my Pidgey will evolve yet. Pidgey. Pidgey pecked Zhang Hang's hair. Zhang Hang said quickly, however, you are not the only one who has improved. My Pidgey also received good special training during the summer vacation. When Zhang Hang bought Pidgey, it was only level 4. Now the level of this Pidgey has been upgraded to level 7, and it has also learned the Gust skill. You can see it. Your Pidgey is definitely getting stronger. Zhang Hang raised his head proudly, that's for sure. Bang bang bang, a crackling sound caught Servine's attention. Servine looked over curiously. Kandan A Tangela was standing in front of the dance machine, using Vine Whip to slap the lighted part, looking very happy. Want to have some fun? Suan noticed Servine's gaze. Tana. Servine shook his head. Although Servine said this, his eyes were still on the machine Tangela was playing with. Upon seeing this, Shen Yu immediately took a coin and threw it into the empty machine. Servine, come and try it. It's fun. Dana. Servine hesitated and looked at Sue and Suan encouraged, go and give it a try, you can't waste Shen Yu's kindness. So Servine walked over. Tana. Servine used Vine Whip. At first, Servine's rhythm was a bit messy, but Servine quickly found the technique and kept up with the beat. Tana. After Servine caught up with the beat, he immediately felt the fun of the game. Chen Ting looked at Trapinch who was watching from the side and invited, Trapinch, do you want to dance with me? Hucky. Trapinch glanced at the dancing machine and immediately shook his head. To Trapinch, the machine that jumped up and down on the grid looked like he was training by stepping on wooden stakes. Trapinch doesn't want to go out to play and have to train. Trapinch, I know there's a project you'd love. Zhang Hang smiled at this time and said, it will allow you to experience the fun of flying. Suan suddenly said, are you talking about the flying simulator? That's right. Zhang Hang said, my Pidgey likes it very much, and your Trapinch will definitely like it too. Hucky. Trapinch looked curious as he listened to what the two said. Follow me. Zhang Hang took Suan and Trapinch to a VR flying simulator. Suan carried Trapinch onto the machine, and then helped Trapinch put on VR glasses. Hucky. After Trapinch put on his glasses, his tone suddenly became excited. Suan looked at Trapinch and said, are you ready? Hucky take off. Suan helped Trapinch put on the VR glasses and then pressed start. Phew, the flying simulator immediately began to shake from side to side, and wind blew from below. This is a machine that allows people and Pokemon to experience flying mentally. When you put on your glasses, you will feel like you are high in the sky. Hucky. Trapinch fell in love with this gaming machine immediately. Suan looked at the Trapinch flying happily on the simulator and smiled, then said to Zhang Hang, look at the Trapinch for me, and I'll go to the front desk to exchange some game coins. No problem. Chapter 29. Pokemon Restaurant. Hucky. Trapinch slid down the Pokemon slide in the restaurant and growled happily. Servine uses Vine Whip and Eevee to play jump rope together. Most Pokemon, no matter how powerful they are, have the same mentality as children, even if they are legendary mythical beasts. I mean it. Zhang Hang danced and said, the instructor in the training camp I attended was a Honchkrow, and he was really powerful. He taught me Pidgey his Gust skills. Zhang Hang signed up for a summer camp about flying Pokemon during the summer vacation, and is now sharing his experience with Suan and the others. After the school starts the ranking competition, I think I still have a good chance of entering the top 10. After the start of the senior year of high school, the school will hold an intra-school ranking competition to select the seed players in the school to prepare for the provincial high school competition. Don't be too careless. Chen Ting looked at Zhang Hang and said, there are quite a lot of capable people in our school. If nothing else, you haven't even beaten Li Muran. I didn't perform well last time because I was too nervous. Zhang Hang defended, I should have let Pidgey take advantage of the air to consume Turtwig's physical strength, and then find an opportunity to attack. If we fight again, we will definitely win. Chen Ting rolled her eyes. Don't make it sound like you are the only one who has improved. Li Muran found a professional trainer for special training this summer. I saw the videos he posted on his friend's circle, and he is still very good. Zhang Hang refused. You don't know if you are strong or not until you've been beaten. No need to fight. Chen Ting looked at Suan and smiled, just like you can't beat Suan. Suan was slightly speechless. Hey, if you are arguing, don't involve me. Zhang Hang listened to Chen Ting's words and said, although it may not be Suan's rival. But, I won't lose easily now. Decided. Zhang Hang looked at Suan and said, would you like to have a friendly match? You sure? Certainly. Zhang Hang said confidently, don't underestimate me. Okay. Suan said, then I will let Servine fight you. No. Zhang Hang shook his head quickly. Servine has evolved. My Pidgey will definitely not be able to defeat it. If I want to defeat you, I'll hit your Trapinch. Hucky. Trapinch, who was playing on the slide, heard someone calling him and looked over. Suan. Shen Yu and Chen Ting looked at each other and smiled secretly. They did not discuss Trapinch's performance in the secret realm with Zhang Hang in detail. Zhang Hang stood up excitedly. Let's go, without further ado. Are you full? Let's go directly to the battlefield. Suan said helplessly, okay. Tip, your friend has invited you to a battle. Winning reward, 1000 Pokémon coins. 1000 yuan was reimbursed by today's consumption system. Video Game City, Battle Arena. Chen Ting took the initiative to serve as the referee. Suan vs Zhang Hang, the rules of the game are 1v1. Players from both sides please release Pokémon. Zhang Hang said confidently, go, Pidgey, who was standing on Zhang Hang's shoulders, flew into the air. Trapinch, don't be too harsh. Suan looked at Trapinch and reminded him. Hucka Trapinch nodded in understanding. Pidgey, go around behind Trapinch, gust attacks. Zhang Hang has indeed grown in command compared to before. Pidgey flapped his wings and flew behind Trapinch. Trapinch looked at Pidgey flying in the air and tilted his head. Suan's order is to be gentle, and the large-scale and high-damage skill Trapinch is not going to be used. Call. The strong wind whipped by Pidgey blew towards Trapinch. Hucky in front of Trapinch, a piece of mud quickly condensed. Call out. Trapinch used mud slap. Boom. The mud quickly passed through the strong wind and accurately shot Pidgey's body. Wave. Pidgey only chirped urgently and rolled his eyes. Pidgey fell out of the air and lost the ability to fight. Tip, if you win the battle, you will get 1000 yuan. Hucky. Trapinch was stunned for a moment when he saw Pidgey falling down, and then trotted up to Pidgey. Hucky. Trapinch rubbed Pidgey's body with his foot. Is this gone? Hucky. Trapinch looked at Suan innocently. The level gap between the two sides is too big. The expression on Zhang Hang's face solidified. People are stupid. Chen Ting was too embarrassed to announce the verdict at this time. She just looked at Zhang Hang and said, are you okay? FK. Zhang Hang finally came to his senses. That training camp tricked me. My Pidgey didn't get stronger at all. Don't say that. Chen Ting suppressed a smile and said, Zhao Zi, do you know? Yeah, I know. You know his dad's Zangoose, right? You know, doesn't he often take his father's Zangoose out to show off? Then do you know that even that Zangoose didn't hit Suan's Trapinch? FK. Zhang Hang was shocked again. Is there such a thing? Didn't you tell me earlier? Chen Ting smiled and said, oh, at that time, Zhao Zi felt that the things in the secret realm were a bit embarrassing, so he wouldn't let us tell them. Zhang Hang felt better. Zhang Hang looked at Suan and exclaimed, awesome, brother. It seems that one of our school's qualifying spots has been locked on by you. But it's okay, I can still compete for the remaining 9 qualifying spots. Suan encouraged, you can do it, come on. Chen Ting said at this time, next, do you want to continue playing? Of course. Zhang Heng looked at Suan with enthusiasm, if we can't beat a battle, we won't lose in video games or anything like that. Huka Trapinch immediately jumped on the spot and made a flying appearance. Trapinch also wants to play that flying simulator. Suan picked up Trapinch and smiled, don't worry, Trapinch. Sooner or later, one day we will be able to fly by ourselves. Huki. Chapter 30. August 10, Suni Shore No. 1 Middle School has officially started school. The campus, which had been silent for a summer vacation, is full of vitality again. Hey, that classmate riding Ponyta, get off here. The teacher on duty shouted to a student who was riding a Ponyta to school with a school bag on his back, it's so dangerous to just ride around like this. Yes, and you, stop here, what's wrong with your purple hair? The teacher on duty stopped a student with purple hair. The purple-haired classmate smiled and said, this is the same hairstyle as my electronic baby. Electronic baby, come out and say hello to teacher. He said, unzipping the backpack behind him. The purple electronic baby waved to the teacher on duty. Our class teacher said we need to develop a relationship with Pokémon. I think we need to start from scratch, the teacher on duty said angrily, don't come here, diet for me as soon as possible tomorrow. Suan looked at the various Pokémon in the school with great interest, and took a look at everyone's levels. Looking along the way, Suan found that most of the students' Pokémon levels were around level 5. The highest level ones are the 2 conspicuous bags at the school entrance. Ponyta's level is level 13, and the electronic baby's level has reached level 15. Suan didn't see any of the other Pokémon that reached level 10. The entrance to the classroom of Class 1, Grade 3. Spinnerack, this is not our home, don't weave a web for me. String Shot Suan, who had just walked to the classroom door, looked up and saw a Spinnerack had already weaved a large net on the ceiling at the classroom door. Suan, long time no see. The owner of Spinnerack said hello to Suan, haven't seen you for a long time. Suan smiled, your Spinnerack is very energetic. It's so bad, I have a headache. Zhang Heng, take care of your Pidgey, don't let it stare at my Caterpie. Zhang Heng said helplessly, how can I control this? Chen Ting, your EV are so cute. Hehe, so is your Vulpix. Shen Yu noticed Suan walking in and waved. Morning. Good morning. Suan walked to an empty seat and sat down. Suan, where are your Trapinch and the others? Zhang Heng came over and asked. The rest is inside the Pokeball. Suan looked at the Pokémon in the class. Everyone's abilities were about the same, and there was nothing that particularly interested Suan. Suan and Zhang Heng chatted for a while, and then the head teacher walked in from outside the classroom. Everyone, please stop making trouble. 2 strong classmates and Pokémon will go with me to move the books. The others will clean up according to our previous assignments. Well, Zhu Yifan, watch your Spinnerack and get rid of the spider web in the classroom quickly. Zhu Yifan quickly stood up, yes, teacher. I'll clean it up right now. Teacher, just leave the books to me and my timber. In the classroom, a sturdy boy raised his hand and shouted. And I, my Machop, can help too. Okay, you come with me. After the teacher assigned the work, the classroom immediately started to move. Suan, come on, let's take out the trash. Zhang Heng's hands were quick, he grabbed a trash can and smiled at Suan. Don't come here. Chen Ting snatched the trash can from Zhang Heng's hand. If I ask you to take out the trash, can you come back? Boom. When Zhang Heng and Chen Ting were arguing, someone tapped the classroom door. Mu Ran? Why are you in our class? Zhu Yifan, who was cleaning spider web, looked at Li Muran and asked curiously. I'm looking for Suan. The video of Li Muran losing to Suan was posted online, so many people in their school knew about it. As soon as school started, many people mentioned to Li Muran about Li Muran's failure in the battle. How could Li Muran bear this? Therefore, he immediately came to avenge his shame. Suan, come and fight the battlefield for me. Hint, your classmate has challenged you. Battle victory, 3000 Pokémon coins. Li Muran waved to Suan, and then walked directly outside. Come on, Suan. Don't be a coward. Let's go for a walk. Let's go out together. The students in the class started booing when they saw the excitement. School playground. I really miss it. A young man sitting in the audience watched the match between SUNY Shore No. 1 Middle School and sighed. Ren Yu, a graduate of SUNY Shore No. 1 Middle School. Ren Yu was ranked over 300 in this year's Provincial High School Conference and is currently studying at Southeast Pokémon University. This time when he returned to his alma mater, Ren Yu was invited by the school to give a speech to the new senior students. Why do you miss me? You just graduated. Zhao Ziyi looked at Ren Yu and rolled his eyes. Ren Yu's family and Zhao Ziyi's family both run factories, and their relationship has always been good. You do not understand. Ren Yu looked at Zhao Ziyi and said, you'll know when you go to college. It feels completely different. While Ren Yu was talking, he noticed a group of students walking in noisily outside the battlefield. Ren Yu suddenly asked with great interest, is this a fight? Zhao Ziyi glanced inside and said in surprise, Suan. You know. As Zhao Ziyi spoke, he rolled his eyes slightly, then looked at Ren Yu with evil intentions and said with a smile, hey, let me tell you, do you want to teach your juniors a lesson? Ren Yu glanced at Zhao Ziyi and said, isn't it good? They are just in their third year of high school. If they play against me, their self-confidence may be damaged. No, no. Zhao Ziyi encouraged, how can you see a rainbow without experiencing failure? Besides, you see so many school girls watching, why don't you try to be cool? Ren Yu felt that what Zhao Ziyi said made sense, so he muttered, you said that, then okay. However, we still have to wait until they finish fighting. On the battlefield. Li Muran clenched the pokeball in his hand and looked at Suan and said, we suffered a lot during this summer vacation. Turtwig and I are completely different now than we were before. So, let's feel our current strength. Li Muran shouted enthusiastically, go, Turtwig. Chapter 31. Race, Turtwig attribute grass level, 10 ability, lush skills, tackle, leafage, bite hereditary skills, none. Li Muran's Turtwig has indeed improved a lot, and he has also learned a new skill, bite. Li Muran looked at Suan and said loudly, let your Trapinch out quickly. Suan glanced at Li Muran, and then took out Trapinch's pokeball. Trapinch, come out and move your body. The pokeball in Suan's hand emits red light. Trapinch appeared on the battlefield. Hucka Trapinch hit Yon, then shook his head. Hucky. Trapinch recognized Turtwig across from him and said hello to Turtwig. Grass seedlings. Turtwig's growl is determined. Obviously, Turtwig, like Li Muran, is waiting for this revenge battle. Suan said at this time, you attack first. Li Muran raised his eyebrows, are you looking down on me? Oh, then don't regret it. Turtwig, leafage. Around Turtwig's body, a bunch of leaves gathered, and then these leafage shot towards Trapinch. Come on, Turtwig. After Turtwig released leafage, he immediately charged towards Trapinch under the cover of leafage. I knew I would use this trick. Beside the battlefield, several classmates in Li Muran's class were discussing Li Muran and Turtwig. That's how my Mankey lost to him. Yet, using leafage as a screen and then letting Turtwig charge is a great tactic. That boy Suan looks like he's going to be in trouble. They had all lost to Li Muran, so they would naturally think that Li Muran was very strong. Li Muran, come on. Come on, Turtwig. As they cheered, Turtwig sped up. Hucka Trapinch looked at leafage flying over and took a deep breath. Gust. Call. The strong wind blew, and the leafage originally shot at Trapinch was blown away. Turtwig, who was rushing towards Trapinch, instantly felt a strong resistance in front of him. Meow meow, wow! Turtwig screamed and lifted his limbs off the ground. Turtwig was blown into the sky, his body spinning uncontrollably in the air, and then crashed to the ground. Meow meow. Turtwig stopped moving. Tip, your Trapinch defeated Turtwig and gained 5 experience points. The huge gap in level and strength means that this battle provides very little experience value to Trapinch. Turtwig, come on! The shouts that were cheering for Turtwig were swallowed back. I'll go, is it over? What's the situation? What about the promised battle of revenge? Trapinch's strength stunned the surrounding students who came to watch. Li Muran was even more stupid. At this moment, he began to wonder what he had been training for this holiday. Zhang Heng looked at Li Muran and did not mock. Because Zhang Heng understands how Li Muran feels now. as expected of Su-an's trap inch. Zhao Ziyi sighed as he watched the scene on the court and then smiled at Ren Yu beside him and asked, "How do you feel?" Ren Yu shook his head slightly. "I don't feel anything. That Turtwig is too weak and it probably hasn't been trained much." Ren Yu didn't think Su-an, who was just in his third year of high school, was very strong. So Ren Yu concluded that Li Muran and Turtwig were too weak. Zhao Ziyi smiled, "Okay. Let's go there." Su-an Zhao Ziyi waved to Su-an, "Long time no see." Su-an glanced at Zhao Ziyi, "It's been a long time." Introduction, this is Ren Yu, our last senior. Ren Yu looked at Su-an and others and nodded slightly. "Wow, he's our last senior. I heard our teacher talk about him. His Snover is amazing, and he also has Snowfall ability. Do you even need to say this? Who in our school doesn't know about him?" At this time, Zhao Ziyi put his hand on Su-an's shoulder and smiled, "Ren Yu is going to give us some advice, what do you say?" Ren Yu Salation said, "It's not about giving advice, it's just about having fun. Don't worry too much about winning or losing. Hint, Seniors Battle. Task Reward, copy the skill once, 30,000 Pokémon coins." Su-an looked at Ren Yu, "Then please give me some advice, senior." Ren Yu took out the Pokeball with a relaxed expression. "Come out, Snover. Race, Snover Attribute, Grass/Ice Level, 20 Ability, Snowfall Individual Value Qualifications, HP, 18, Attack, 20, Defense, 18, Special Attack, 18, Special Defense, 19, Speed, 18, Skills, Leer, Powered Snow, Leafage, Mist, Ice Shard, Razor Leaf, Synthesis." As soon as this Snover appeared, Thinociris floated around it. Although the range is not large, it also makes the surrounding temperature drop a lot. "I'll go, it's really a fight." Zhu Yifan from Su-an's class immediately took a photo and posted it in the school group. Zhu Yifan, "Awesome, Su-an challenges Ren Yu." Chen Kong, Class 5, Grade 3, "It's true or not, I'll be right over." Qinhua Wanhua, "I was just talking about why it suddenly snowed over the battlefield. It turns out it was Senior Ren who came back." Lu Yet, Class 2, "Don't go. When you get there, Senior will probably win." Xiao Yu and Ponyta, "It's hard to say. I just saw that Su-an defeated Li Muran. I think he should be able to hold on for a while." In the teaching building, many students ran out of the classroom and rushed towards the training ground. In the principal's office, the dean who was reporting on his work looked at the principal and noticed the scene outside the window and quickly asked, "Do you want them all to come back?" The principal shook his head and smiled, "Young people, it's a good thing to be energetic. Let them make trouble." Chapter 32. Senior, long time no see. Brother Yu, your Snover looks stronger again. Ren Yu is indeed very popular in school, and many people come up to say hello to Ren Yu. "Brother Yu, why did you go back to school today?" Ren Yu smiled and said, "Teacher asked me to come back and give a speech on behalf of the graduates at the opening ceremony. I happen to be free these days, so I came over to take a look." Zhao Ziyi saw that there were more and more people and said quickly, "Let's chat later, Su-an is still waiting." "Okay." Ren Yu looked at Su-an opposite and said, "Let's start like this." Su-an said at this time, "Wait a moment. Come back, Trap Inch." Su-an took Trap Inch back. Ren Yu looked at Su-an in confusion, "What do you mean?" Su-an took out Servine's Pokeball. "Come out, Servine." "Wow, it's Servine." "Su-an, where did you catch this?" Su-an hasn't shown off his Pokemon in the circle of friends yet, so everyone doesn't know it yet. Servine. Ren Yu looked at Su-an's Servine and was stunned for a moment. "Who is your Servine?" "I conquered it in the secret realm. It just evolved not long ago." This battle was too easy for Trap Inch. Su-an plans to let Servine, who is about the same level as Snover, play. "That's right, then you're really lucky. Since it has just evolved, there is no pressure on Snover. It's just Servine, it's not like Snover has never been defeated before." Ren Yu thought this and said relaxedly, "Are you ready?" Su-an nodded slightly. "Then you attack first." Ren Yu took the initiative to give Su-an the first move. Tana. Servine narrowed his eyes. Servine found that both he and Su-an seemed to be underestimated. Su-an didn't care. Servine, Leaf Storm. Tatsuno. A violent storm rolled up around Servine's body. A large amount of grass energy gathered crazily in the form of leafage, and then turned into a ball of flying leaves twister. Boom-hoo on the battlefield, dust and sand were flying. The energy revealed made the clothes of everyone watching around him rustle. FK. Leaf storm. The relaxed expression on Ren Yu's face froze instantly. Is this a skill that the newly evolved Servine can learn? Ren Yu shouted anxiously. Snover, interrupt it. Swilly. Snover looked at the huge green leaf twister and was also panicked, but under trainer's order, it still bravely launched an attack. Razor leaf hits the Servine like a blade normal. Servine glanced away, his eyes filled with contempt. Tatsuno, boom. The green leaf twister rolled up the dust and blasted it towards Snover. Snover's razor leaf was swallowed up by flying leaf twister in an instant without causing any ripples. Pang! Snover was overwhelmed by flying leaf twister. A violent explosion sounded and smoke filled the air. Shwelly, shwelly! Snover shouted in horror as it was swept up into the air. It felt like the world was spinning, and then Snover was hit to the ground again. Snover! Ren Yu shouted anxiously. There was silence all around the venue. Everyone was dumbfounded. Deny. Servine's leaves flapped slightly. The wind blew away the smoke. Snover is lying in the middle of the battlefield. Victory in the battle, you will receive 30,000 Pokémon coins, please select a skill to copy. Copy synthesis, Servine learns. Copying is successful, Servine has mastered synthesis. Synthesis is a restorative skill that can restore Pokémon's physical strength. Servine will be positioned as a mobile gunner in the future. Coupled with his super high double defense, Servine can confidently say that he can continue to fight. I'm sorry, is it true or false? Zhao Ziyi looked at Suan's Servine in disbelief. Zhao Ziyi certainly thinks that Suan has the possibility of winning. But in Zhao Ziyi's mind, this should be a wonderful showdown. By then, the expression on Ren Yu's face will definitely become more and more exciting. But Zhao Ziyi never thought that Ren Yu's Snover would be directly defeated by Suan's Servine. What's more, according to Zhao Ziyi's understanding, Suan's trap inch is even stronger. Tana Servine raised his neck proudly and then walked back towards Suan. Great fight, Servine. Suan knelt down and looked at Servine and smiled. Suan had already expected this result. When Suan was practicing in the secret realm, he had already discovered that if the Pokémon levels are the same, the difference in body value, the Pokémon's attributes, and the power of the skills are the key to determining victory or defeat. Servine's special attack talent is maxed out. Even if Snover has some resistance to grass-type skills, he still can't withstand this move Leaf Storm. Looking at Suan talking to Servine, the surrounding students finally realized what was going on. Did Servine just win? Someone asked. Yes, and it's an instant kill. So, if Suan's current strength were placed in the last college entrance examination, he would have been in the top 300 at least. This is too exaggerated. Damn it, Servine is too strong. Suan is awesome. There were a lot of screams and heated discussions all around. Suan, how do you usually train Pokémon? Zhu Yifan ran to Suan excitedly and asked. Suan, what kind of food did you feed Servine? Suan, have you hired a coach for Servine? The students around him suddenly rushed toward Suan in excitement. Deny. Servine looked at the crowds of people and used Vine Whip directly. Vine Whip is like a normal isolation belt, pushing everyone away from Suan. Suan looked at everyone apologetically. Sorry, our class has to clean up, so let's go first. Suan said and waved to Zhao Ziyi, I'm going back to work first. Zhao Ziyi looked at Ren Yu who looked suspicious of life and smiled bitterly, okay, let's talk later. In the principal's office. This kid actually defeated Ren Yu. The dean of students was surprised and said, it seems that there is an extraordinary student this year. That's all you saw. The principal's eyes lit up as he looked at the scene outside the window. What I saw was not a battle won. While the dean was still trying to figure out what the principal meant, he heard the principal say in a suppressed and excited voice, what I see is Arjong province's top martial artist. Immediately confirm that he is in that class, and also ask teacher Sun from the combat department to come over. The teaching director quickly said, yes. Chapter 33. In the classroom of Class 1, Grade 3. Suan, please tell us in detail your adventure in the secret realm. How did you meet Servine? The classmates in the class gathered around Suan and asked Suan about her summer vacation experience. It's just fate. Suan stood by the window holding a mop. I believe that if you are in the wild, you will definitely meet Pokémon that you can trust each other and make friends with similar personalities. Then how did you train Servine? Zhu Yifan couldn't wait to say, my Spinarak doesn't really obey my words, but I feel like your Servine and others completely obey your orders. Suan thought about this question for a while and then said, there is no special method. Pokémon's feelings are actually very direct. As long as you take them seriously, there will be a response. Bang bang. At the door of the classroom, the head teacher clapped his hands and shouted to the students in the classroom, why are you gathering around Suan? Is your responsible health district all on him? After hearing the class teacher's words, the students surrounding Suan dispersed to clean the hygiene areas they were responsible for. Suan, come to the office with me. Good. Suan stood up and followed the class teacher out of the classroom. Suan, you can do it. The head teacher looked at Suan and praised him, I have grown so much after not seeing you for the summer vacation. Suan smiled and said, teacher teaches well. Ha ha ha, you are really good at talking. Inside the office, Teacher Sun, who is in charge of senior year combat studies, and the dean of students are all there. Suan looked at his class teacher in confusion. Take it easy. The head teacher looked at Suan and smiled and said, I'm looking for you for good reasons. The dean stood up and looked up and down with his hands behind his back. Suan nodded slightly. Student Suan, teacher, please confirm first. Do you plan to focus more on the cultural test for the college entrance examination, or do you want to prepare for the Pokémon martial arts test? Suan looked at the teaching director and replied, my goal is to become a training master, so I want to prepare for the martial arts exam. Yes, not bad. The dean looked at Suan and smiled. The school thinks you have great potential and plans to formally test your combat ability. Don't attend the opening ceremony later. Just go directly to the battlefield. Suan immediately looked at Teacher Sun who was standing aside. Are you fighting Teacher Sun? That's right. The dean smiled and said, he is indeed a smart boy. But don't be too nervous. Judging from the power of your Servine's Leaf Storm, you no longer need to participate in the school's internal ranking competition. Your name must be among the 10 qualifying places in our school. Tip, play against the school teacher. Task reward, 100,000 Pokémon coins, experience candy M, skill copy once. The rewards are plentiful. Suan has no reason to refuse. Behave yourself. The head teacher patted Suan on the shoulder and said softly, this is an opportunity. Inside the classroom. What does teacher want from you? Zhonghang looked at Suan and asked curiously. Nothing. Suan looked at the textbook that had been handed out and said, it is to arrange a battle between me and Teacher Sun from the battle school. What the hell, fighting Teacher Sun? Zhonghang was suddenly surprised and said, when? At the opening ceremony. Ah. Upon hearing this, Zhonghang immediately shouted to the head teacher who was distributing textbooks on the podium, Teacher, can we watch the battle between Suan and Teacher Sun? Listening to Zhonghang's shouting, the students in the classroom immediately looked at Suan. Of course not. The head teacher looked at Zhonghang and said angrily, you kid, please don't sneak out for a while. I will sit next to you later. There are others too. They are going to the auditorium soon, do you hear me? Ah. Why is it like this? Everyone wailed, obviously they were very curious about the battle between Suan and Teacher Sunday. Suan didn't say anything more, but looked through the books on the table. There are still many things to learn in the senior year of high school. The 5 most important subjects in the world are biology, mathematics, history, linguistics, and combat science. Suan is still very interested in these courses. Biology mainly talks about the habits of various Pokémon and their lives. Mathematics and linguistics need no further explanation. History is attractive to most boys, not to mention that the history of this world is closely related to the legendary Pokémon. The essence of learning history is the process of experiencing and searching for legends. There is also combat science. The Battle Society teaches the theoretical knowledge of various battles, as well as some interesting skill combinations. Suan looked through the combat textbook. The first part of the textbook is about the impact of weather on Pokémon battles. In reality, there are gaps between many skills and games. For example, the cooperation between Snowy Sky and Blizzard. In the game, Blizzard will become a sure hit skill when activated in snowy weather. But in reality, if blizzard is used in snowy weather, the power of blizzard will be greatly improved, and the duration of the snowy weather will also be increased. It's almost time. At this time, the head teacher said on the podium, "Everyone, please line up and go to the auditorium." Yes, everyone stood up one after another. "Suan, tell me the results later." Zhang Hang walked to Suan's side. Suan closed the textbook and looked at Zhang Hang and said, "No problem. Come on for the battle." Chen Ting and Shen Yu also came over. "We'll find a chance to sneak out and cheer you on later. What are you sneaking around?" The head teacher looked at Shen Yu and the others angrily and said, "Hurry up and get in line." Shen Yu and Chen Ting walked out quickly. The head teacher watched everyone walk out of the classroom and said to Suan, "You can go too, Teacher Sun should be waiting for you on the battlefield. Don't be nervous, just show your normal strength." Chapter 34. Suni Shore Number 1, The Battlefield. Teacher. Suan walked into the battlefield. Teacher Sun looked at Suan and smiled and said, "This battle is 2v2, so I can change Pokémon in the middle. Is that okay?" "No problem." "Okay, let's start directly." Teacher Sun has a very straightforward character. After explaining how to fight, he took out his Pokeball. "Come out, Zebstrika." Ban Ban Race, Zebstrika Attribute, Electricity Level, 28 Ability, Lightning Rod Skills, Ion Deluge, Quick Attack, Tail Whip, Charge, Shock Wave, Thunder Wave, Light Screen, Thunderbolt. Suan glanced at Zebstrika's data, and then took out the Pokeball. "Go ahead, Servine." Tana, a mechanical sound was made to the electronic referee in the battlefield. This game is a 2v2 battle, and both sides can change Pokémon. Game start. As soon as the electronic referee finished speaking, Teacher Sun immediately gave the order. Zebstrika, Quick Attack. Most electric Pokémon are very fast, especially four-legged electric Pokémon like Zebstrika. Ban Ban. Spark condensed on Zebstrika's feet, and then normal rushed towards Servine like a bolt of lightning. So fast. Suan marveled at Zebstrika's speed and then quickly said, "Servine, use Vine Whip to sweep Zebstrika's legs." Tatsuno, call out. Servine threw out a Vine Whip and whipped it at Zebstrika in front of him. Ban Ban. Zebstrika jumped up, easily jumped over Servine's Vine Whip sweep, and then continued to hit Servine without losing speed. After missing a hit, Suan quickly changed his strategy. "Servine, use Vine Whip to prop yourself up." Tatsuno. Another Vine Whip on Servine's body was pressed against the ground, and then Servine's body was seen flying high into the sky with the support of Vine Whip. "It's a good idea. Teacher Sun praised me. But this way, you become a target." Zebstrika, Shock Wave. Zero Boom. Suan smiled slightly and looked at Servine who was soaring in the sky. Using Vine Whip, Servine briefly hovered in the air like walking on stilts, looking down at Zebstrika below. His blood-red eyes were full of arrogance and confidence. Tatsuno. On the ground, the Vine Whip that Servine threw out before suddenly swam away like a long snake, normal, and then quickly wrapped around Zebstrika's leg. Tatsuno. While Servine's body was falling rapidly, the Vine Whip exerted a fierce force and actually wheeled Zebstrika up. "What?" Teacher Sun looked at this scene, his pupils shrank slightly, and he showed a slightly shocked expression. Tatsuno. Peng. Servine landed firmly, while Zebstrika was thrown to the ground by Servine's Vine Whip. When Servine was still Snivy, he often used the Vine Whip to move around in the woods. When Suan met Snivy for the first time, Snivy was being chased by other trainers. Snivy, who was on the run at that time, even had the ability to use Vine Whip to grab Trapinch and smash it at their Pokémon. Leaf Storm is Servine's most powerful skill. Vine Whip is definitely the most proficient move Servine has mastered. Suan takes advantage of the victory and pursues it. Servine, Leaf Storm. Deny in front of Servine, a huge flying leaf twister condensed. Teacher Sun looked at the skill that was comparable to Twister Normal and quickly ordered loudly, "Zebstrika, Light Screen." Ban Ban. Zebstrika quickly stood up from the ground, and then saw transparent light screens extending outward layer by layer in front of Zebstrika. Boom. Leaf Storm's speed and power are gradually weakening under the layers of obstacles from light screen. Zebstrika immediately left the spot, dodging Leaf Storm's skills. Servine, Encore. Leaf Storm. Tatsuno. In front of Servine, another flying leaf twister condensed. Most people will instinctively think that Leaf Storm is extremely powerful only the first time it is used. After all, among the grass-type Pokémon, apart from the Fomantis family, the only Pokémon with the ability to play Devil's Advocate are the Snivy family. This ability is too rare. Teacher Sun watched Servine use Leaf Storm again and said without hesitation, Zebstrika, Thunderbolt. Zera Banban. Electricity condensed on Zebstrika's body. At this time, Teacher Sun said loudly to Suan, Student Suan, Leaf Storm consumes a lot of money when used. I do not recommend that you use it continuously. Suan smiled after listening to Teacher Sun's words and did not respond much, because the speed and volume of the Leaf Storm on the battlefield had already told Teacher Sun why Suan asked Servine to use this move continuously. Leaf Storm was the first to roll towards Zebstrika, and Zebstrika's lightning passed through Leaf Storm and struck Servine's body. Leaf Storm involved Zebstrika in Twister. Boom ping. The violent explosion and the overflow of energy caused strong winds all around. Smoke enveloped the entire battlefield. At this time, in the school auditorium, the school leaders are delivering a speech. Students, the senior year of high school is the most critical year. Everyone must cherish the last time. So boring. Zhang Hang called Yan. I don't know how the battle between Suan and teacher went. The head teacher glared at Zhang Hang and said, listen carefully and don't think about things that you don't have. Pang. A violent explosion suddenly sounded. This voice startled the students who were originally looking bored. I'll go, what exploded? It seems to be coming from the battlefield. No one is fighting, right? Teacher, I need to go to the toilet. Zhang Hang immediately said to the class teacher, old class, I want to go too. Class teacher, come on, are you going to the toilet? Sit still. After the head teacher finished scolding him, he ran to the window, opened the curtain a little and looked towards the battlefield. Teacher, what can you see? The head teacher subconsciously said, it's all smoke, I can't see clearly. The head teacher said, paused slightly and then got angry behind Zhang Hang, get back here. Oh, teacher, just leave me alone. You see, even the principal is standing at the window. Chapter 35. On the battlefield, the smoke gradually dissipated. Tana Servine revealed himself. Servine gasped slightly. Grass-type Pokémon have a certain resistance to electric-type Pokémon, and Servine's own special defense is very high, so it's not like it can't withstand a thunderbolt. The smoke from Zebstrika's side also dispersed in all directions. Zebstrika lay on the ground, having lost the ability to fight. Tip, Servine won a victory, and Servine gained 834 experience points. Servine's level has been raised to level 22, 112/10220, after Trapinch reaches level 30, Lucky Egg's bonus to Trapinch is very little. Although not ineffective, it is clear that the Lucky Egg makes the current Servine carry more efficient. Come back, Zebstrika. Teacher Sun looked at Servine and his eyes became serious. It turns out to be ability, the Devil's Advocate. As a battle studies teacher, I naturally have a very good understanding of Pokémon's various skills and abilities. Nice ability, but you're out of luck. Teacher Sun no longer treats Suan as just a student. Let's go, Vaporeon. Race, Vaporeon attribute, water level, 30 ability, water storage skills, water gun, takedown, dig, swift, quick attack, cold water splash, haze, water pulse, aurora beam. Haze. This Vaporeon masters the Haze skill. Haze is a very special ability because it can return the abilities of Pokémon in Haze to their original state. For example, after Servine uses Leaf Storm, his special attack will be increased by 2 levels under the influence of Naysayer. Then in Haze, the improved ability will disappear. Obviously, this is why Teacher Sun said Suan was unlucky. Although the effect of Haze is very good, it still needs to be achieved. Servine, can you continue fighting? Suan asked, looking at Servine. Tana Servine raised his neck slightly, Vaporeon, Haze. As expected by Suan, Vaporeon directly used the Haze skill. Around the venue, black mist rises. Deep fog. Tatsuno. The blades on Servine's body flapped, and the haze that was rising around Servine was instantly blown away. Teacher Sun looked at the dispelled haze and was suddenly stunned. Haze can't bring Servine's ability back to its original point, so next Vaporeon will face Leaf Storm, whose power has been increased twice. Servine, Leaf Storm. Teacher Sun knew that Suwon would definitely let Servine use this move, but unfortunately Teacher Sun's Vaporeon really couldn't block this move. Vaporeon, with Dig. Teacher Sun looked at Servine and decided to postpone it for the time being. After all, Servine withstood a thunderbolt and continued to use skills like Leaf Storm, which must have taken a huge toll on his physical strength. Suwon glanced at the hole dug by Vaporeon and said calmly, Servine, synthesis. Tatsuno. Servine raised his head and looked at the sun soaring in the sky. There's enough sunshine. The leaves on Servine's body slowly glowed, and the injuries on Servine's body healed. Tana Servine's energy consumption was restored. Teacher Sun looked at Servine who had fully recovered, and finally couldn't help it anymore. Why does your Servine know all the skills? Suwon smiled, we still have a lot to learn, teacher, be careful. Servine, magical leaf. Tatsuno. A strange energy emanated from Servine's body. The next moment, a large number of magical leaf flies towards the cave. Magical leaf can lock on the target it wants to attack, and it can be called a tracking missile among Pokémon skills. Under the cave, Vaporeon looked back and saw a large number of leaves flying quickly behind him. By pang! On the ground, the land was directly blown open, and Vaporeon was blown out of the ground. Tana in front of Servine, Leaf Storm gathered together again. Come back, Vaporeon. Teacher Sun immediately took back his Pokémon. I can't stand it anymore. Teacher Sun immediately admitted defeat, you won this game. The Leaf Storm in front of Servine slowly dissipated. Tip, Servine won a victory, and Servine gained 824 experience points. You defeated the school teacher, and you got 100,000 Pokémon coins, experience candy M. Please copy the secret skills among the skills that Zebstrika and Vaporeon have mastered. Copy Light Screen, Servine learns. The skill of Light Screen can fill Servine's lack of defensive means, and at the same time greatly improve Servine's output ability on the field. Experience Candy M, Suwon is intended to be used by Trap Inch. Thank you for your hard work, Servine. Tana. Suwon looked at Teacher Sun with a complicated expression and said, Teacher, what am I now? Teacher Sun forced out a smile and said awkwardly, you should go back to the classroom first. You played very well. Good. When Suwon returned to the classroom, Zhang Heng and the others also came back from the auditorium. Suwon, did you win just now? Zhang Heng asked excitedly as soon as he saw Su A and Suwon, tell me about the details of the battle. Isn't it thrilling? Suwon, your Servine just used Leaf Storm several times, right? Doesn't it mean that this move is not good for Pokémon? Suwon. Suwon's head was pounding when he looked at the people who were all asking questions about him. Everyone go back to your seats. After the head teacher shouted, everyone let Suwon go. The head teacher looked at everyone and said, you all heard what was said in the meeting just now. This is a critical year. Our school will select the 10 strongest students before the end of this month and go to Daxinganling for training. The head teacher said that there was silence for a while, and then he looked at everyone seriously. I know that many students dream of becoming professional trainers and competing in the World League. Teacher was just like everyone else when he was little. When I was in high school, I thought about becoming a professional trainer, but when I was in college, I thought that being a Pokémon Ranger would also be pretty good. And now, I'm a teacher. The head teacher looked around at everyone and said slowly, the road to pursuing your dreams is never smooth sailing. What matters is whether we really worked hard at it. This month's school ranking competition is bound to have many regrets for many students. But, I want to say that there is more than one path in life. Teacher has always believed that the college entrance examination just gives us more choices. And we can't limit our lives just because of an exam. What kind of person do you want to be, what kind of life do you want to live, the road ahead lies under your own feet. Please give me flowers, please give me monthly tickets, please give me rewards. Chapter 36. Suwon's senior year of high school has officially begun. The intra-school ranking competition in mid-August is the biggest event of SUNY Shore No. 1 Middle School. Suwon was assigned to the top 10, so she did not need to participate. During this month, Suwon learned a lot about the mythology and history of this world, and also learned a lot of knowledge that could not be learned from games and animations. At the same time, Suwon did not relax in training Trapinch and Servine. In the school training hall. Servine, are you ready? Tatsuno. Servine looked at the launcher above the training ground seriously. Start! Suwon said, pressing the switch of the transmitter. A large number of balls shot out from the nozzle of the launcher. Tana! Servine quickly dodged among the balls that rained down, and used Vine Whip to deflect those he couldn't dodge. Now, Magical Leaf! Tana on Servine's body, the magical leaf quickly condensed and then shot towards the ring target ahead. Pang! The skills hit the target. Pretty! Suwon looked at Servine and smiled, I dodged all the balls perfectly this time. Tana Servine raised his little head proudly. Tip, Servine completed a training session and gained 423 experience points. Servine has reached level 25. Suwon, help me quickly. Outside the training room, there was a sudden cry. Zhonghang fell in front of Suwon with a sliding shovel. Well, you don't have to pay such a big courtesy, right? Suwon looked at Zhonghang in confusion. Shame on you. Chen Ting and Shen Yu followed behind and looked at Zhonghang with a smile. Can you have some backbone? Zhonghang said confidently, I'm in danger, so what kind of backbone do I need? Zhonghang said and looked at Suwon, tomorrow's battle list is out. My rival is Xiao Yu from class 7. I feel that I am definitely not his rival. Xiao Yu. The one using Ponyta. Shen Yu reminded. Oh, him. Suwon suddenly looked at Zhonghang sympathetically, then you are gone. Do not. Zhonghang said anxiously, if I beat him, I can enter the top 18. If I win another round, I will be in the top 10. Pidgey next to Zhonghang also called out to Suwon and Suwon rubbed his head. Xiao Yu and his Ponyta. Suwon noticed it when school started. The level was level 15 and the ability was the Body of Fire. In addition, the cooperation between Xiao Yu and Ponyta is indeed good judging from the battles these days. It is difficult for Zhonghang to win. Suwon, brother Su. Zhonghang asked, I know you can find a way. Suwon looked at Zhonghang's Pidgey and fell into thinking. Pidgey's current skills are only Tackle and Gust, and his level is 7 levels behind Ponyta. Hucka Trapinch lay on the ground and hit yawn. Suwon glanced at Trapinch and suddenly had an idea. Suwon looked at Zhonghang and said, you should know that Pidgey can learn the sand moving skill, right? I know. Zhonghang nodded. I plan to let Trapinch teach Pidgey how to throw sand first. After you learn it, if you can throw sand into Ponyta's eyes, you still have a chance to win. Zhonghang hesitated. Can you learn it in one day? Suwon shook his head. I can't guarantee it, but I can at least give it a try. Shaking sand is not a difficult skill, many Pokémon can even use it from birth. Pidgey's level can still be learned if it takes one day and Trapinch's teaching. Zhonghang thought for a while and then said, okay. By the way, do you know what Xiao Yu's Ponyta's ability is? Ability? Zhonghang scratched his head, I don't know. Then treat him as a Body of Fire. When fighting against him, don't use Tackle. Just use Gust to consume him. Pokémon's ability is different in reality and in the game. Some abilities are something Pokémon are born with, but some require practice, such as the Fire ability. Just like Ash's little fire monkey, it suffered a lot in order to master the Fire ability. Therefore, other people will not know what this Pokémon's ability is unless it is specifically shown. Zhonghang immediately said, I understand. Shall we start now? Suwon looked at Trapinch. Trapinch, it's time for you to be a teacher. Hucka Trapinch patted his chest confidently and said there was no problem at all. Tip, trigger the task requirement, let Trapinch teach Pidgey how to pull sand. Task reward, experience candy M. 2 hours later, in the school's sandpit. Hucky. Trapinch called out to Pidgey and used the sand brush. Pidgey, come on, we will definitely succeed this time. Zhonghang shouted loudly. Pidgey. Pidgey hooked the sand with his feet, and some sand was picked up by Pidgey, and then fell back into the sand pit. Hucky. Trapinch got anxious and slapped Pidgey on the head. Hucky, Hucky. Trapinch doesn't understand, why can't Pidgey learn such a simple skill? Pidgey. Pidgey looked aggrieved. In the stands outside the bunker. Chen Ting laughed out loud looking at Trapinch's expression. You know, the last time I taught my cousin elementary school math problems, this is the expression Trapinch has now. Trapinch, so cute. Zhonghang sat down and looked at it in frustration. No, Suwon, Pidgey can't learn it at all. Suwon stood up and looked at Zhonghang and said, you will make Pidgey feel stressed if you are so anxious. Take it easy. After Suan finished speaking, he squatted next to Trapinch and said, Trapinch, Pidgey is not our ground-type Pokémon. His energy perception of the ground type is definitely not as good as yours. Trapinch listened to Suan's words and tilted his head. Can't sense the energy of the ground system? Trapinch looked at Pidgey with a serious expression on his face. Hucky! Trapinch suddenly shouted at Pidgey. Pidgey! Hucky! Beneath Trapinch, the sand began to sink. Suan was stunned for a moment, then quickly said, Zhonghang, stay away. Suan said something, and immediately took the hands of Chenting and Shen Yu who had followed him, and the three of them exited the sand pit. Ah, what's wrong? Zhonghang looked at Suan and the others with a blank expression. The next second. FK. Zhonghang's body disappeared instantly. Trapinch used Quicksand Abyss. Of course, this Quicksand Abyss won't do much damage under Trapinch's control. A huge pit appeared in the sand pool, and yellow sand was flying in the pit. Trapinch, Pidgey and Zhonghang all fell inside. The idea behind Trapinch is simple. Can't sense ground energy? Then create an environment full of ground energy. Hucky! Trapinch was in the quicksand pit and once again used the sand shovel towards Pidgey. Pidgey! At this time, Zhonghang remembered Suan's words, and regardless of the sand on his face, he said to Pidgey, Don't be nervous, just follow your feelings. Pooh! Zhonghang said, spitting out the sand in his mouth. Pidgey! Pidgey took a deep breath and flapped her wings. A streak of yellow sand appeared out of thin air. Task completed, Pidgey learned to shake sand Hucky. Trapinch jumped up excitedly, then jumped out of the hole and rushed towards Suan caught Trapinch and exaggerated, Well done, Trapinch. It seems you are a very good teacher. Here, this is a reward. Suan placed the experience candy near Trapinch's mouth. Awu Trapinch happily ate it. Tip, Trapinch took the experience candy to gain experience points, and Trapinch's level rose to level 33, 322/45131, Trapinch's evolution level is level 35, and Suan has an unused rare candy in his hand. After leveling up again, Trapinch can eat rare candy and complete its evolution directly. Thinking of this, Suan smiled. Zhonghang crawled out of the sand pit in embarrassment and looked at Suan to confirm, that was sand removal just now, right? My Pidgey, learned how to shake sand. Suan smiled, yes, congratulations. Ha ha ha, it's safe tomorrow. Zhonghang shouted happily. Pidgey is flying in the air. Pfft, Zhonghang, do you want to see what you look like now? Chenting looked at Zhonghang's dusty appearance and laughed. By when Chenting was smiling, her Eevee jumped into the sand pit. Chenting's smile disappeared. No, Eevee, I just gave you a bath. Tana Servine looked at everyone, turned his cheek and smiled secretly. Under the sunset. The joyful laughter of the boys, girls, and Pokémon dissipated in the wind along with the sunset. Chapter 37. Sunny Shore 1, Pokémon vs Battlefield. Suan was sitting in the auditorium of his class, watching the battle on the field. Meowth, Encore, Sucker Punch. Centauret, get out of the way. Pang. Meowth was very fast and slapped Centauret on the body. The referee took one look at Centauret's contest condition and raised his flag. Centauret loses the ability to fight, Meowth wins. So the one who advanced is Tanaka from Class 5, Grade 3. In the audience. Look, I said Tanaka can win. Zhonghang smiled at Suan and said, Well, I have good eyesight. Don't come here. Chenting rolled her eyes at him. Tanaka has won every match he has played so far easily. Everyone knows he will definitely win. Announcement on the radio, Zhonghang from Class 1, Grade 3 and Xiao Yu from Class 7, Grade 3, please prepare to enter. Zhonghang took a deep breath, stood up and said, Wait for my good news. Come on. Shen Yu sat next to Suan and asked softly, Is he okay? Suan shook his head. It's hard to say, after all, anything can happen on the battlefield. Zhonghang and Xiao Yu entered the arena from both sides of the player tunnel. The referee watched the two people take their positions and shouted, The rules of the game are 1v1. When one Pokémon loses the ability to fight, the game ends. Ask both players to release Pokémon at the same time. Zhonghang and Xiao Yu took out the Pokeball at the referee's command. Go ahead, Pidgey. Let's go, Ponyta. After the two Pokémon appeared, the referee continued to give orders. Game start. Ponyta, Ember. Pidgey, Gust. Two Pokémon used their skills at the same time. But it's obvious that Ponyta's Ember is more powerful. The fireball shot through the wind and towards Pidgey. Pidgey ducked immediately. Ponyta, Encore. Pidgey, rush over. Pidgey lowered his flying height and rushed towards Ponyta. Well done, Ponyta, tackle. Now, shake the sand. Pidgey flapped his wings fiercely and slapped Ponyta in the face with sand. Fire fire. Ponyta's tackle misses Pidgey. Fire fire. Ponyta shook her head vigorously, jumping on the spot, as if she wanted to shake the sand out of her eyes. Zhonghang said excitedly, that's it, Gust. Pang. The wind hit Ponyta's body. Ponyta fell to the ground. Pidgey, keep going Gust. Xiao Yu quickly shouted, Ponyta, run quickly. Come on. Fire fire. Ponyta let out a long hiss amidst Xiao Yu's shouts, and the skin on Ponyta's body began to turn red inexplicably. Pang. The wheel hit the ground. Ponyta successfully got up and ran quickly. Xiao Yu breathed a sigh of relief and looked at Zhonghang and said, you can do it. You can actually shake sand. I've never seen you use it before. Zhonghang said proudly, of course you should save the good things for last. Pidgey, just keep using the sand blasting. The same trick won't work on me, Ponyta, close your eyes. Zhonghang was immediately happy. If you close your eyes, wouldn't you become blind? Pidgey, just run into it. Xiao Yu smiled after listening to this order. In the audience, Suan frowned slightly as he watched this scene. Pidgey increased his speed and slammed into Ponyta. Now, Ponyta. Phew! Ponyta's body suddenly burst into flames. Pidgey collides with Ponyta, but the fire on Ponyta also ignites Pidgey's wings. Pidgey suddenly panicked and tried to put out the fire on his body with his wings. Now, Ember. Ponyta stopped and a ball of fire shot out at Pidgey. Pang! Ember covers Pidgey's entire body. Wave! Pidgey fell to the ground with a cry. The situation was reversed and the battle ended in an instant. Zhonghang froze on the spot. At the end of the game, Pidgey lost the ability to fight and Ponyta won, so Xiao Yu from Class 7, Grade 3, advanced. The referee made his decision. Xiao Yu looked at Zhonghang and said, my Ponyta ability is the body of fire. I originally planned to hide this ability until tomorrow, but I didn't expect you to force it out. Your Pidgey is very powerful, he fought well. Bang bang bang, there was applause all around. Zhonghang took back Pidgey and walked back disappointed. Zhonghang, what's wrong with you? Chen Ting looked at Zhonghang and said, it's better to just use Gust. I was afraid that Gust wouldn't be able to hit him, so I thought of using Tackle. And I didn't expect Ponyta's ability to actually be a body of fire. Zhonghang looked at Suan and said, I'm sorry. Obviously, you and Trapinch have worked so hard to help us train. Suan said calmly, it doesn't matter. Although the result is a bit regretful, you have worked hard, haven't you? But, I obviously have hope. Okay young man. At this time, the head teacher came over and patted Zhonghang on the shoulder. You have played very well. Think about the happy things. At least in this campus ranking competition, you must have gained something, right? Zhonghang said, well, my Pidgey has learned to shake sand. That's right, people keep growing through failure. Teacher believes that you won't always lose. Chen Ting smiled at this time and said, indeed, I still remember the scene when Zhonghang used Pidgey for the first time. They are completely different from now. Zhonghang's self-regulation ability is very fast. He scratched his head, is it so exaggerated? Of course there is. If you don't believe me, ask Suan. Suan smiled, the progress is indeed great. Haha, that's good. I'm fine. Let's continue watching the game. On the battlefield, a new round begins. By the way Suan, on what date are you going to Daxinganling for training? Zhonghang asked curiously. Suan looked at the battle on the field and said, teacher said it's the end of the month, this Thursday. That's it. I heard it's very cold in the north now, almost 0 degrees. Many ice-type Pokémon are very active. Will you go over there to catch an ice-type Pokémon? Suan thought for a while and then said, it's hard to say. If there is a suitable situation, I will definitely conquer him, but who knows? Haha, yes. Deep in the Daxinganling Mountains. A spaceship with a very simple bow is hovering above this trackless forest. A dozen men in uniforms came out of the cabin. The leading man was holding a cigarette in his mouth and said with a displeased look on his face, "Damn, those technicians are the uncles. Let us do all the dirty work. They are just lying inside the spacecraft waiting for news from us, right?" Beside him, a man holding a notebook looked at the data on it and said, "Instead of complaining about this, you might as well pray to Ho-Oh that we can really find the ancient ruins of Unknown here." Pray to Ho-Oh. Oh, Ho-Oh, if the old man knew that we were looking for Unknown to use its rainbow feathers to make a copy of it, he would probably burn us directly. The man holding the cigarette said, throwing the cigarette butt in his hand towards Lin Hai below. "Come out, Skarmory." Wing Skarmory fluttered its wings and chirped. He turned over and jumped on Skarmory's body and ordered to those around him, "Boys, get to work." Yes. Seeing this, everyone else threw their pokeballs. At once 12 Skarmory appeared on the deck. These Skarmory carried them into the forest. Chapter 38. Suni Shore No. 1 Middle School, August 30th, Pokémon vs Battlefield. Zhao Ziyi loudly ordered, "Pop Dolphin, water gun." Pop Popper's dolphin took a deep breath and fired the water gun at a Mankey on the opposite side. Pang! Mankey was unable to dodge, and his body fell out under the impact of the water gun. In the audience, many people stood up and looked nervously at Mankey in the battlefield. This is the last game of 18-9. Whoever wins will get the school's qualifying spot. Mankey didn't get back to his feet. Competition is over. The referee raised his flag. Mankey lost the ability to fight, Pop Dolphin won, so Zhao Ziyi advanced. Well done! Zhao Ziyi shouted excitedly. Pop Suan sat in the stands and applauded with everyone. Dear students, the school selection competition has officially ended. At this time, the dean took the microphone and said, "Please leave in an orderly manner. In addition, please ask the following students to gather in the school conference room. Grade 3, Class 2, Zhao Ziyi. Grade 3, Class 5, Tanaka. Li Muran, Class 3, Senior Grade 3. Xiao Yu, Class 7, Grade 3, Grade 3. Class 31, Lei Yingxia. Grade 3, Class 4, Mao Jing." The names reported by the Dean of Students are all those who have obtained the qualifying quota. There's also Class 1, Grade 3, classmate Su An. After the students in the audience reported their names, they walked towards the outside of the battlefield one after another under the leadership of teachers from each class. "Come on, everyone, line up." The head teacher shouted to Zhonghang and the others, "Stop skipping classes and go back to the classroom." After the head teacher finished speaking, he said to Suan, "Go ahead." Good. Suan stood up and walked towards the school conference room. School conference room. That's a good fight, Zhao Ziyi. Xiao Yu looked at Zhao Ziyi and smiled and said, "To be honest, I'm still afraid of running into your Popper's dolphin." Be modest, your Ponyta is still very strong. Even if I have a certain attribute advantage, I may not be able to defeat you. While Zhao Zhejiang was talking, he noticed Suan who had just walked in at the door. "Here you go, Suan, how was my performance just now?" Suan looked at Zhao Ziyi and gave a thumbs up. "Sharp." "Ha ha ha." Zhao Ziyi laughed, "Thank you, boss, for your recognition." The dean and teacher's son walked in at this time. "Everyone, sit down." The dean of students watched everyone calm down and said, "First of all, I would like to congratulate everyone on getting the qualifying quota in the school. But everyone must remember that this is not the end, this is just the beginning. What you will face next are the geniuses from across the province, and you will also face trainers from across the country, and even the world. Of course, these are still too far away. Tomorrow everyone will go to Daxinganling to participate in the training camp. Before we go, let's ask Teacher Sun to introduce to you the precautions for this training camp." After the teaching director finished speaking, he looked at Teacher Sunday. Teacher Sun stepped forward and opened the slides he had prepared. "This time we are not the only ones participating in the training camp at Suni Shore No. 1 Middle School, but there are also 4 schools from other regions. We'll spend the month leading up to it with them." Teacher Sun clicked the mouse. A valley appeared on the projection. There is a base in the valley. Mohi Ranger Training Center. This place is the specific location we are going to tomorrow. The Mohi base is located inside the Greater Xing'an Mountains. Because it is far away from human cities, there are many powerful wild Pokémon. If they think you are invading their territory, they're likely to attack you. So don't leave Solation's base. Zhao Ziyi sat next to Suan and whispered, Suan, are you interested in the ranger? Suan looked at Zhao Ziyi in confusion, why do you ask this suddenly? I know this. Xiao Yu interjected, because fewer and fewer people have applied for the ranger major in recent years, the ranger admissions department plans to identify potential talents directly from high school. They provide venues for training. If students intend to join the rangers, after graduating from high school, they can directly enter the rangers' exclusive school to study. Suan nodded slightly. Understood. However, I don't like being confined to one place, so I probably won't join the rangers. What, are you interested? Zhao Ziyi shrugged, I have thought about not only being a ranger, but also being a Pokémon investigator, or working in the Pokémon Alliance, I have thought about it. Ahem. Director Sun coughed and glared at Zhao Ziyi who was speaking. Zhao Ziyi shrank his neck slightly and stopped talking. Teacher Sun finally said, one last thing, we need to choose a captain among us, everyone. Before Teacher Sun finished speaking, everyone looked at Suan. The students in the school are very simple and don't think too much. Suan was able to defeat Teacher of Battle Studies, and everyone naturally recognized it, and no one jumped out to object or said they wanted to try Servine's Leaf Storm. Teacher Sun smiled, it seems that everyone has already chosen someone. Suan, are you okay? Suan stood up. No. Teacher Sun looked at the dean. Okay, let's go here today and let's go back and pack our things. The school will gather at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we will take the bus to the airport. Meeting dismissed. After the dean finished speaking, he and Teacher Sun walked out together. Captain, I don't seem to have your contact information yet. Can you add one? Xiao Yu took the initiative and said to Su An no problem. And me, I'll add it too. Chapter 39. Daxinganling, Mohi Base. Pignite, Flame Charge. Growlithe, Flame Wheel. Pignite and Growlithe collided violently, and then jumped back together. Stir-fried. Ouch! Pignite and Growlithe stared at each other. Outside the battlefield, a young man with his legs crossed looked at the two people on the field and said, Hey, didn't I say this is a joint training of 5 schools? How come you two are here and still fighting with your own people? The trainer behind Pignite glanced at him, Wang Dong, what do you mean? Nothing interesting. Wang Dong said cheerfully, I'm thinking, why don't we make our school look bad for a while? After all, we are considered landlords. When people from other regions arrive later, why don't you fight with them? Pignite's trainer heard this and immediately looked to the other side, Xiang Hui, what do you say? Don't listen to him. Xiang Hui touched Growlithe who ran back to him. If he wants to do it, let him do it himself. Wang Dong shrugged, I didn't want to give you and Dachan the chance to shine. PS off. Xiang Hui rolled his eyes at Wang Dong, you just want to see their strength, but you are afraid that you will encounter a tough match and lose. While the three were talking, they were outside the base. A bus drove in slowly. In the car. Isn't it too cold here? Zhao Ziyi shivered. Didn't teacher tell me to bring thicker clothes? Li Muran, who was wearing a down jacket, glanced at Zhao Ziyi, gloated and mocked, you deserve it. Zhao Ziyi looked at Li Muran angrily and said, shut up, you little mama boy. Look at the 3 floors outside of your place. Why doesn't your mother move all your wardrobes over to you? Li Muran glared at Zhao Ziyi, what does this have to do with my mother? How not? When your mother sent you to school, wasn't she still yelling at you to put on more clothes so you don't get cold? Listening to the bickering between the two, everyone in the car laughed. Li Muran blushed angrily, so what? I'm not cold anyway. In September in the south, everyone still wears short sleeves and vests and wants to go shirtless on the streets. But in the north, the temperature is close to 0, and some places are even freezing. Okay, you guys, stop making trouble. Teacher Sun stood up after watching the car stop and said, get out of the car. Yes. Suan led everyone down. Standing in front of the bus was a tall woman wearing a ranger uniform. She looked at everyone and smiled and said, hello, I am Ranger Xiaoling. Teacher Sun stepped forward, hello, Teacher Xia, I want to trouble you. It's okay, I'll take you to the dormitory area. Everyone followed Xiaoling and walked inside. This is the battlefield. Since there are still 3 schools that have not arrived, you can come here to play for a while after putting away your things. Xiaoling looked at the training ground next to her and introduced. Suan and the others looked towards the training ground. On the training ground, there are only 3 boys here. Wang Dong looked at Suan and they immediately patted Dachan on the shoulders. Dachan, are you scared? Dachan patted Wang Dong's hand down, am I afraid? Ah! Dachan shouted directly to Suan and the others, hey, brothers, will you come over to practice when you have time? Wang Dong smiled when he saw this, then looked at Xiang Hui and said, I'm going to Dachan do, but you're not going. Come on, but don't even think about running away. Xiang Hui hugged Wang Dong's neck and then shouted to Suan and the others, there are 3 of us here, can we win 2 out of 3 games? Suan, what do you say? Want to fight? Hearing the shouts of Wang Dong and the others, Zhao Ziyi and the others stopped and looked at Su A and Suan nodded slightly, of course, everyone can also do some exercise. Xiao Yu immediately replied and shouted, okay, we'll come over as soon as we finish putting things away. Tip, ask the host to win a battle. Task reward, copy the skill once. Dormitory area. After Xiaoling took Suan and the others to the dormitory area, she said, the boys' dormitory area is here. The dormitory area is managed by a Rotom. It has assigned a room for you. You can just go in. After Xiaoling finished speaking, she said to Stephanie, the only one in Su An's team, the girls' dormitory is over here, come with me. Most girls are more interested in contests than Pokémon battles. Just like Shen Yu and Chen Ting. Neither of them even participated in the school's on-campus tryouts. On the electronic screen at the door of the dormitory area, a Rotom figure suddenly appeared. Welcome to Mohi Base, I am your dormitory manager. If you have any questions, you can call me in the room. After Rotom finished speaking, everyone's name and room number appeared on the electronic screen. The treatment is good. Zhao Ziyi looked at the room allocation above and was surprised, it's actually a single dormitory. Let's go, everyone go and put away your gifts first. Suan said at this time, by the way, who of you wants to fight later? Wang Dong and the others made a 3-on-3 appointment, which meant that Suan and the others were also going to have 3 people. Each player plays 1 game and wins 2 out of 3 games. Xiao Yu immediately said, I want to try it, because I just saw that they were on the battlefield with fire Pokémon. Li Muron shrugged, I won't fight. My Turtwig will already suffer a lot in this environment. Li Muron and Suan did not have any deep hatred, although at first Li Muron felt that losing to Suan was embarrassing. But when Li Muron found out that the previous senior and the teacher of the school had lost, Li Muron no longer felt embarrassed, and even felt a little proud. I am the one who dares to challenge Suan. Then I'll come. Zhao Ziyi chuckled and said, my pauper dolphin will not suffer. When the time comes, I will lead the way for you. Suan, okay, that's no problem. Let's go put things away. The rooms provided in the dormitory are not big, but they look very comfortable. There is a single bed, a bathroom, and a desk. There are also several ranger-related books on the desk. After Suan put away the things, he took out the Pokeball. Come out, Servine, Trapinch. Tana. Servine looked around and frowned. Most grass-type Pokémon don't like cold regions, and of course, the ground-type Trapinch doesn't like it either. Want to go out for a walk? Or do you plan to go back to the ball and rest? Suan asked, looking at Servine and Trapinch. Tana. Servine looked at Suan's clothes and frowned depressedly. Servine kind of misses the days before he evolved, because he could get into Suan's clothes. Suan looked at the troubled Servine and smiled, okay, let's go back to the ball and rest. However, we have to stay here for a while, so we can't stay in the ball all the time. Deny. Servine nodded. Suan took Servine back. Trapinch is also troubled, but unlike Servine, Trapinch struggled with whether to return the ball or go out and play. Servine and Trapinch have different personalities. Servine is more clingy, while Trapinch is more playful. Hucky. Trapinch jumped to the window and glanced downstairs. Xiao Yu and the others have already gone out. Ponyta, run 2 laps. Xiao Yu sat on Ponyta and shouted happily. Fire fire! Ponyta started running around their dormitory. Meowth, we'll wait for everyone. Hucky. Trapinch decided, Trapinch wanted to go out for a walk. Chapter 40. Mohi Base vs Battlefield. Fire Xiaoyu rode Ponyta very fast. Ponyta's ability is the body of fire. In such weather, riding on Ponyta is like riding on a running scald bag. At times like this, the benefits of fire-type Pokémon come into play. Zhao Ziyi followed Suan and said, when I go back this time, I will look for opportunities to capture a fire Pokémon. Where did we get the fire-type Pokémon over there for you to tame? Tanaka interjected, unless you buy one. Zhang province is close to the sea and has many lakes and wetlands. It can't be said that there are no fire Pokémon in the wild, but there are really very few. I'm already a trainer, you still want me to find someone to get money to buy Pokémon? That's too embarrassing. Zhao Zedao, no big deal, just find a volcano-type secret realm. Speaking of which, there is a new volcano secret realm in Xinjiang. Volcano secret realm. Xiang Hui, who was walking over to greet Suan and the others, heard Zhao Ziyi's words, do you need to go so far to get to the volcano secret realm? We have several volcano-type secret realms here. If you want to conquer fire Pokémon, just find a time and I'll take you there. Zhao Ziyi was stunned when he heard Xiang Hui's words. Forward. Xiang Hui looked at Zhao Ziyi, who stopped talking and asked in confusion, what's wrong? You don't like our secret realm? No. Zhao Ziyi quickly waved his hand and said awkwardly, I've never been here, how could I not like it? Wang Dong stepped forward and said with a smile, okay, everyone is already shy. Let's have a fight first and get familiar with each other before we chat. Okay. Xiang Hui said directly, then let's start directly. Which of you will go first? Zhao Ziyi immediately said, I am the first. After the two sides determined the order of appearance, they walked towards the opposite sides of the battlefield. Zhao Ziyi, I can't tell, you are still afraid of society. Xiao Yu looked at Zhao Ziyi and teased. Zhao Ziyi said speechlessly, I think I am already very outgoing, but I have never seen anyone who can ask someone to go to a secret place on the first meeting. It was so enthusiastic that I was stunned. Let's not talk about this for now, come on for me. Zhao Ziyi said and walked to trainer's command position. In the battlefield, there is an automatic referee robot. It watched Zhao Ziyi and Xiang Hui come on stage and then gave the order. Ask both players to release Pokémon. Let's go, Pop Dolphin. Growlithe, go ahead. Suan looked at Growlithe. Race, Growlithe attribute, fire level, 21 ability, flash fire skills, Leer, Ember, Flame Wheel, Bite, Fire Fang, Agility. Individual value qualifications, HP, 22, Attack, 25, Defense, 24, Special Attack, 22, Special Defense, 21, Speed, 28, Hereditary Skill, Double Kick. The statistics of this Growlithe are quite good, and its level is relatively high. The robot referee ordered, the game begins. Zhao Ziyi shouted first, Pop Dolphin, Water Gun. Growlithe, Agility. Ouch! Growlithe growled, and the hair on his body tailwind fluttered. Growlithe was very fast and Popper's attack missed. Suan, what do you think of this? Xiao Yu hugged his Ponyta, walked to Suan and asked. Suan simply said, although Zhao Ziyi's Pop Dolphin has an advantage in attributes, the Growlithe is too fast. If Pop Dolphin's skills cannot keep up with Growlithe's speed, then there will be no suspense in this game. On the battlefield, Zhao Ziyi continued to attack. Pop Dolphin, use Aqua Jet. Growlithe, jump back. Ouch! Growlithe stood there very calmly, watching the Popper's Dolphin rushing towards him under the current. Just when Popper's Dolphin was about to hit him, Growlithe jumped back quickly. It's not over yet, Supersonic. Zhao Ziyi didn't think that his Popper Dolphin could directly hit Growlithe, so the purpose of this move Aquajet was just for displacement. Supersonic is area damage, and the attack range is wider than Water Gun. Popper's Dolphin quickly opened its mouth, and the sound waves in its mouth swept towards Growlithe. Ouch! However, the moment Growlithe landed, he suddenly changed direction and went directly to the side of Popper's Dolphin. Now, double kick! Xiang Hui seized the opportunity. Growlithe quickly pounced on Popper's Dolphin, which was using Supersonic, and kicked the Popper's Dolphin's body with both feet. Pang! Damn it, your Growlithe is too flexible, isn't it? Zhao Ziyi looked at the Popper Dolphin that was kicked and flew out and said in shock. Xiang Hui smiled, my Growlithe often accompanies me and my grandpa on mountain patrols. Because we are always running in the woods, Growlithe has become so flexible. Mountain patrol. My grandfather is a forest guard. More and more. Zhao Ziyi said and took back his pop dolphin directly. This lost me. Zhao Ziyi walked towards Suan and the others. Sorry, that Growlithe is too fast and my popper's dolphin can't touch it at all. Xiao Yu smiled, it's okay, I'll take care of you. Xiao Yu patted Ponyta's butt. Let's go. Fire fire on the other side, Wang Dong patted Dachan on the shoulder, it's up to you. Dachan looked at Xiao Yu's Ponyta and said, this Ponyta is really good and matches our appetite. Is it Pignite? Stir-fried Pignite flashed his muscles. The robot referee watched the two Pokémon come on the field and ordered, the game begins. Pignite, tackle. Ponyta run. Wang Dong watched Ponyta start running at the beginning of the game and said to Xiang Hui beside him, this Ponyta looks very strong and very fast. Xiang Hui nodded slightly. This Dachan is probably gone. There is a big gap between Pignite's speed and Ponyta's speed. But it doesn't matter. Xiang Hui glanced at Wang Dong and said, you can definitely win the last game, right? Wang Dong looked at Suan and Trapinch who were also watching the battle. The last game is to beat him, right? The Trapinch next to his feet looks stupid, you can take a good look at it soon. What will happen if you lose? Wang Dong glanced at Ponyta's performance on the field and smiled, no. Let's make a bet. If I lose, I'll wash your socks for a month. If I win, you'll wash them for me. Xiang Hui rolled his eyes at Wang Dong, no, your Bergmite has so many ice skills, isn't it from Tianqi? If you don't want to bet, then don't bet, you coward. When Xiang Hui heard this, his eyes suddenly crossed, come on, if you lose, you will look very proud. Wang Dong already knew the strength of this group of people through the previous two battles. Wang Dong confidently said, then just wait and see. Chapter 41. Ponyta, Flame Wheel. Pignite, hold on, Flame Charge. Pignite looked at Ponyta crashing towards him at high speed, and also aroused the flames on his body. Stir-fried. Pignite growled, then bumped into Ponyta. Pang! Xiao Yu grinned, now, double hit. The moment the two Pokémon collided, Ponyta suddenly turned around, a burst of white light appeared on its tail, and struck Pignite. Snapped. The sudden whipping caused Pignite's body to stumble and fall to one side. Fire fire! Ponyta looked at Pignite who lost his balance and immediately used tackle to add the final blow. Pignite loses the ability to fight, Ponyta wins. The robot referee made the decision. Pignite, are you okay? Dachan helped his Pignite up. Stir-fried. Dachan supported Pignite's body and comforted him, it's okay, it's just a loss. Let's just win it back next time. Stir-fried. Xiao Yu came over and said, luckily, is your Pignite okay? Dachan stood up and said, hey, there is nothing lucky or unlucky. If you lose, you lose. However, we will not admit defeat. We will practice hard for a few days before we challenge you. Xiao Yu looked at the straightforward Dachan and smiled and said, okay, no problem. Xiao Yu came back. Fortunately, I did not disgrace my fate. The next step is up to you, Captain. Good. Suan smiled and then walked towards the battlefield. Base parking lot, look over there, there seems to be someone fighting. A group of people who had just stepped out of the car looked at the battlefield and asked curiously. The base service personnel who came to receive them glanced at the battlefield. That's the student who arrived before you. Can we go take a look? Sure. The receptionist at the base smiled and said, if you are not in a hurry to put your luggage to outside the battlefield. Xiao Yu looked at the group of people approaching and said, it seems they are all here. Zhao Ziyi patted his chest. Fortunately, I lost quickly, otherwise it would have been a big embarrassment. Xiao Yu was happy for a moment, can you be successful? Do I want to lose? But that Growlithe is really fast, and I really can't help it. On the battlefield. The robot referee looked at Suan and Wang Dong and said, please let both players release the Pokémon. Huka Trapinch shook his big head and trotted to the battlefield. Wang Dong looked at the naive Trapinch and smiled, brother, don't say I took advantage of you. Come out, Bergmite. Race, Bergmite attribute, Ice level, 19 ability, Frozen body skills, Harden, Tackle, Rapid Spin, Protect, Powered Snow, Icy Wind. It's good to know how to protect. Suan was a little surprised and then looked at Wang Dong with a friendly smile and said, "It's okay." Wang Dong nodded slightly, "Okay, let's go to Bergmite." Xiang Hui looked at Wang Dong a little depressed, "FK, this is just for him." "What's wrong?" Xiang Hui explained, "I just made a bet with him. If he wins, I will wash his socks for a month." "What the hell?" "No, what are you thinking about?" Dachshund said speechlessly, "It's not like you don't know his strength. His Bergmite is like a little whirlwind. He has never lost against a Pokémon that can be restrained." Xiang Hui sighed. He tried to bury me with his words, so he couldn't help but agreed. On the battlefield, Wang Dong directly ordered, "Bergmite Rapid Spin." Bing bing. Bergmite's body immediately rapidly spun and rushed towards Trap Inch. "It's not over yet, let's use Powder Snow." Bergmite in Rapid Spin has a layer of powder snow sprinkled around his body. Combo skills. That Bergmite looks a bit fierce. Several students who spoke with a Sichuan accent discussed. Suan ordered, "Trap Inch, Rock Tomb." Huka Trap Inch looked at the charging Bergmite and let out a breath, and then saw a large amount of rock condensing above Trap Inch's body. Pang! A large number of rocks hit Bergmite directly, and the Bergmite that rushed towards Trap Inch was blocked by a falling rock. Bergmite crashed into the rock. Boom pang! A large number of rocks fell and Bergmite was directly submerged. "It won't last seconds, will it? I'm so old." Students from other schools who came over to watch couldn't help but burst out in their hometown dialect when they saw this scene. A boy with his pockets in his pocket looked at his friend next to him and smiled, "That Trap Inch looks very majestic, Brother Yao, what do you say? Would you like to challenge yourself?" Li Yao looked lazily at the smoke on the battlefield. "You want to make me stupid, okay. Bergmite loses the ability to fight, Trap Inch wins." The beep sound of the electronic referee brought Wang Dong, who was stunned, back to his senses. Bergmite. Wang Dong quickly ran towards Bergmite where he was pinned down by rock. "Trap Inch." Suan looked at Trap Inch and shouted. Huka Trap Inch nodded, and then saw the rocks on the field turning into energy and slowly dissipating. Tip, please select skills to copy Protect. Protect can be learned by both Trap Inch and Servine. Servine had just learned Light Screen not long ago, so Suan asked Trap Inch to learn this secret. "Is your Bergmite okay?" Suan looked at Wang Dong and asked. Wang Dong picked up Bergmite and looked at Suan depressedly, "Brother, aren't you cheating on me? Who tricked you?" At this time, Xiang Hui ran over with a cheerful face and said with a smile, "Don't be too embarrassed to lose. Who can't afford to lose? I'll wash it for you when I get back, okay?" Suan looked at the two of them curiously, "What to wash?" Wang Dong waved his hand quickly, "Nothing, nothing." Ding dong. At this moment, a prompt sounded from the radio on the battlefield. "Welcome to our Mohi Ranger base, all students. Everyone, please put away your belongings and go to the auditorium to assemble. We will introduce our training content and work schedule to everyone in the auditorium." Hearing the sound of the radio, the surrounding students began to disperse. Let's go together." Xiang Hui looked at Suan and the others and extended the invitation. "Good." Suan found that there were only 3 of them and asked curiously, "Where are the other people in your school?" "They're all at the training ground." Xiang Hui explained, "Our school is not far from here, so we came one day earlier than you. I thought it was too stuffy in the training room, so I thought of going out for a walk, but I arrived just in time for you." The group of people chatted and walked towards the auditorium. Chapter 42. Mohi Base, Auditorium. "Welcome to our Mohi Base, I am your Bishop Officer Josuan." On the stage, a burly man looked at the people in the audience and began to speak. He is followed by a weevil. This weevil is at level 45, with sharp eyes and a cold light shining on its sharp claws. Most places in our base have no restrictions on the release of Pokémon, so everyone can release Pokémon in a solation way. Instructor Joe looked at everyone and smiled and said, "Just like now, everyone can let your partners come out for some air. Come out, Herdier. In that case, Wartortle, why don't you come and do some exercise too? You're bored out of your mind, Vulpix." As soon as everyone heard what the instructor said, they all took out the Pokeball. "Yellow Cha-Cha, don't run around, Scyther." Suddenly, the growl of various Pokémon and the voices of their trainers made the originally quiet auditorium become lively. Suwon looked at everyone's Pokémon with interest. Most of these people's Pokémon are between level 15 and 20. Not many have reached level 20. Apart from Xiang Hui's Growlithe, Suwon only saw 2. Only a Solosis floated on the head of a slightly lazy boy. Its level has reached level 28. Here the other one is Heracross. Heracross is level 26. It is worth mentioning that the Heracross also has a secret treasure on its head, the Momentum Belt. The Momentum Belt can exert powerful energy and help Pokémon bear a certain amount of damage during the battle. To be able to go out with such a secret treasure, the owner of Heracross must be rich or noble. Instructor Joe looked at the chaotic auditorium and said calmly, "Weevil." Sneasel. Weevil took a step forward. An extremely shocking malice emanated from Weevil's body. The Pokémon in the auditorium instantly felt the malicious energy released. Everyone looked at Weevil's fierce eyes and immediately fell silent. "Suwon, this Weevil looks so strong. Can your Trapinch defeat it?" Zhao Ziyi looked at Suwon and asked. "You really think highly of my Trapinch?" Trapinch's current level is level 33, which is a full 12 levels different from Weevil. Not to mention the current Trapinch, even after the Trapinch evolves, it may be a bit confusing. After all, Weevil has always been known as the dragon-slaying knife in the gaming industry. Although Suwon said this, Suwon still wouldn't mind challenging Weevil if there was a chance. After all, reality and games are two different concepts. Instructor Joe continued, "All facilities in our Mohi base are managed by Rotom. In daily life, if you have any questions or requests, Solation can just find an electronic screen and call Rotom. Also, this is the next training schedule. Let's take a look at it together." A timetable appeared on the big screen. In the morning, I mainly trained on trainer and Pokémon performance. The afternoon was devoted to actual combat and skills practice. In the evening, battle review and tactical explanation will be conducted. Suwon had just finished reading the training schedule when a system prompt popped up. Trigger Challenge Mission. Task 1, get 10 consecutive victories in Mohi Base, 0/10. Task Reward, Experience Candy M*3 Challenge Mission 2, defeat Bishop Joseon. Task Reward, Secret Treasure. Miracle Seed, a seed that breeds life, which can enhance the power of grass-type skills. Suwon looked at the reward of the challenge mission, his expression was stunned, and he looked up at Instructor Joe again. On the podium, a big walking seed is speaking. Secret treasures like Miracle Seed are not a matter of whether you have money or not. Heracross's Momentum Belt only provides a certain increase in external force to Pokémon, and this type of prop can be traded and used repeatedly. Miracle Seed is different, it is a secret treasure that Pokémon can absorb. This type of secret treasure can fundamentally enhance the strength of Pokémon. Except for a certain probability of being produced in secret areas, it cannot be found anywhere else. And if you use one, you will lose 1 point. Price but no market. Trapinch, it looks like we have to train hard. Suwon looked at Trapinch lying at his feet and said. Hucky. Instructor Joe looked at everyone and finally said, "That's what I want to say. And what everyone has to do today is to eat well, rest well, and officially start training tomorrow. Everyone, let's go to the cafeteria." Dismissed. There is a buffet in the base, with all kinds of food available, very rich. Hucky. As soon as Trapinch entered the restaurant, his little eyes immediately lit up. Trapinch ran to the meat area and looked at the slices of meat on a plate. Suwon looked at Trapinch's sparkling eyes and immediately had a bad feeling. Servine. Trapinch jumped up and rushed towards the plate with meat. Tana Servine used Vine Whip in time to hoist Trapinch up. Hucky. Trapinch turned around and looked at Suwon innocently. "These are not just for us alone." Suwon couldn't laugh or cry and asked Servine to put Trapinch down. Suwon took a big bowl and said to Trapinch, "Whatever you want to eat, I'll get it for you." Hucky. Meat, right. Trapinch nodded. Trapinch is not the only greedy little guy. For example, the fruit tree area. Greedy chinchilla, people like you think I'm mistreating you. A young boy looked at his Pokémon with a sweaty face. The greedy chinchilla was chewing the fruit and stuffing it into his tail like a thief. The most exaggerated one is a little Kirby. It picked up a portion of food and poured it all into its mouth. "Kirby, I'll go and leave some for others." Its trainer is still behind trying to stop. Chapter 43. Suan, do you have any plans soon? After Zhao Ziyi finished feeding his pauper dolphin, he carried his rice bowl to Suan's table. I'm going to take a look inside the training ground in the base. I just heard from Xiang Hui that the training ground here is very big and has everything. Suan looked at Zhao Ziyi and suddenly remembered his mission 1. The task requirement is to win 10 times in a row, that is, defeat 10 trainers in a row. Zhao Ziyi, after dinner, how about I help you train your pauper dolphin? What's the meaning? Zhao Ziyi looked at Suan in surprise. Do you want to fight me? No fight, no fight. Zhao Ziyi waved his hands repeatedly. My pauper dolphin will probably be wiped out by a whip from your servine. I don't want to. Suan looked at Xiao Yu. Xiao Yu said cheerfully, okay. But I have to wait until my Ponyta evolves into Rapidash. Ponyta evolves to level 40. Xiao Yu's words can be understood as meaning that if nothing unexpected happens, it will be impossible for him to fight you in the next few years. All right. Suan didn't force it. According to the schedule, everyone will arrange actual combat every day, so Suan can complete the task in as little as 10 days. With 3 experience fruits and 1 rare candy, Trapinch can fully evolve in no time. In other words, Trapinch can become Vibrava in up to 10 days. Deep in the Daxinganling Mountains. Wu Yang, use your sand slash to dig a little to the left. Wu Yang held a cigarette in his mouth and looked impatient. Are you sure this is here? Shasha Sand Slash waved his claws and dug open the earth wall on the left. Pang, the earth wall collapsed, revealing a very empty space inside. Looking inside, under the bright light of a bronzer using flash, one can see a large number of ancient buildings collapsed in this space. Aja smiled and said, it seems we have found it. You can do it. Wu Yang was startled, and then showed an excited expression. Look for them all and see if there are unknown symbols on these ruins. Yes. Behind Wu Yang, several men in uniforms immediately stepped forward and searched around with flashlights. Wu Yang followed and walked in. Soon, a wall falling on the ground attracted his attention. On this wall, a large number of unknowns of various shapes are carved. Report, found unknown style symbols. I have it here too. There are 4 over here. Members all around reported their findings. Wu Yang stood up, looked at Aja behind him with excitement and said, contact those bastards and ask us whether we should move all the things here or how to deal with them. However, the moment Wu moved away with the light of the flashlight, those strange symbols suddenly opened their eyes. If the point in the middle of their body was the eye. Aja said while taking photos, we have been contacted, they. Before Aja finished speaking, he suddenly froze on the spot. He swallowed with a look of horror on his face. Run, run. Aja's body instinctively retreated in fear. Click, he tripped over a stone and the notebook in his hand fell out of the space. Hey? Run. Wu Yang looked at Aja in surprise. He looked back and saw a scene that he would never forget. A large number of unknown gathered together densely and floated slowly. The surrounding space began to distort. In the middle of this open space, a space vortex appeared. Akira, the space shattered, and an astonishing suction force came in. Wu Yang's body instantly flew uncontrollably towards the twisted vortex. No, no. Wu Yang lost his voice and shouted to Aja, save me quickly. Aja stretched out his hand, as if he wanted to pull Wu Yang, but then, Aja's body was also pulled by that force and crashed into Wu Yang. The two of them were sucked into the vortex together. Rustle. Sand/Rage roared, and he jumped up high and rushed towards the unknown. Union, the unknowns all dodged Sand/'s crush claw while groaning growl, and then Sand/ was also sucked into the vortex. At this moment, everyone and Pokémon who entered this space were all sucked into the space. Union, the unknown gathered together again at this time and flew towards the whirlpool channel together. The twisted space around him gradually returned to calm. Only the laptop that had been thrown out of the cave shimmered with light, illuminating the dark and deserted cave. Spaceship above the forest. The interior of the spacecraft is different from the simple style outside, and the interior is full of technology. This frequency is indeed unknown. A middle-aged man who looked like he was in his 40s, but he had a head of white hair. He looked at the data on the electronic screen with excitement. Great, we finally found them. Teacher, do we want to go down now? Next to him, a young man wearing glasses asked. Not now. The reaction of the spatial fluctuations is so strong, it will definitely attract the attention of the ranger base. Let's let Orbug Mew lure them away first. Yes. At the bottom of the spacecraft, a Pokémon wearing an Aurabug coat slowly opened its eyes. Mohi Base. Report, strong spatial fluctuations have been detected within the Greater Xing'an Mountains, which is suspected to be a distortion of time and space. The observers at the base looked at the data that suddenly appeared on the screen and immediately reported it upward. Ask Josun to take someone to check, and report any situation at any time. Yes. Base Training Center. The training center in Mohi Base is not only large, but also has complete facilities. There are various training props and training equipment, and there are even special training houses for different Pokémon. Just like the flying training house that Trapinch is playing in right now. This room can automatically adjust the wind strength to practice Pokémon's own flying skills. Trapinch is purely for fun, but the graphics are a bit tragic. Hucky inside the house, Trapinch screamed, and then he was blown up by a strong wind and hit the transparent glass on the side. Peng Hucky before Trapinch could hit the ground, he was blown up again and hit the ceiling. Boom! Standing outside the house, Suan could hear tackle inside. Xiao Yu came over with his Ponyta. Suan, your Trapinch is like a ball inside, will it be okay? Suan said helplessly, don't look at it like this, but it is actually having a lot of fun now. Bai Diao, while the two were talking, they suddenly heard a long roar coming from outside the window. Outside the training hall, 3 Pidgeots landed, and then saw the chief officer Josun hurriedly led the 2 of them out and sat directly on the Pidgeots. Bai Diao Pidgeot chirped loudly and then flew Josun and the others into the night sky. It's so late, where are we? The chief officer, riding a eagle. Xiang Hui and Dachan walked towards Suan with 2 young men. He also noticed Pidgeot outside the house and asked suspiciously. I do not know. Zhao Ziyi shook his head and then asked curiously, by the way, are you all called Pidgeot here? Not at all. The Pidgeot outside the window has turned into a black dot. Xiang Hui withdrew his gaze and looked at Zhao Ziyi and said, but the older generation is used to calling Bai Diao. It's just that since the name was unified in the textbooks, many people like to call it Pidgeot. Different regions have different dialects, so it is naturally difficult to unify the names of Pokémon. Just like some people in the coastal region like to call it Lapras. Let's not talk about this for now. Xiang Hui looked at the 2 people behind him at this time. What are you doing standing behind? Don't you want to test Suan's strength? When Suan heard this, he immediately became energetic. Suan didn't wait for them to speak and said directly, no problem, shall we go to the battlefield now? Chapter 44. Guoan looked at Suan, who responded directly, and then looked at Xiang Hui beside him, who was a little embarrassed. What should I do? Do I really want to fight? Guoan looked at Bao Chongliang next to him. Forget it, since I said so, let's fight. It's not like there is no chance at all. After Bao Chongliang finished speaking, he looked at Suan and said, there are 2 of us, and you happen to have 2 Pokémon. Then there shouldn't be any problem with us playing 2-on-1, right? Sure. After Suan finished speaking, he knocked on the glass of the flying house and then closed the wind wall outside. Hucky. Trapinch fell from the ceiling and looked at Suan in confusion. Suan released Trapinch. Let's play again next time. Let's go to the battlefield first. Huckiguo and An were originally just discussing the battle between Trapinch and Bergmite. After the discussion, Guoan casually said that if possible, he would really like to feel Suan's strength, but Xiang Hui happened to hear this. Xiang Hui then stepped forward and said, you want to fight Suan? What's the matter? I'll take you there. Hence the current scene. On the battlefield. Suan looked at Guoan and the others standing at the command position and wondered, do you want to follow the rules of doubles? That's not true. We just follow the 2v2 rules. Guoan replied with a smile at this time. I'll do the first one. Come out, Spinarak. Race, Spinarak attribute, Insect/Poison level, 18 ability Insects premonition skills, Poison Barb, Absorb, Dig, Agility hereditary skill, Baton Pass. Suan looked at the Spinarak in surprise, and immediately understood what they were thinking. They are planning to use the Baton Pass tactic. No wonder the rules of singles 2v2 are used. Trapinch has already been active today, so Suan plans to leave this battle to Servine. Go ahead, Servine. Tana Servine walked up to the duel. Xiang Hui took the initiative to act as the referee. After watching both Pokémon come on stage, he immediately said, the game begins. Spinnerack, dig. Spinnerack immediately dig hit underground. Servine, magical leaf. Tana, a large number of green leaves slowly appeared in front of Servine's body. The next moment, these magical leaf flew down the hole. Is your Spinnerack okay? Bao Chongliang looked at Guoan beside him and asked. Rest assured. Guoan confident said, we have gone through special training and know how to deal with skills like magical leaf underground. After hiding underground, Spinnerack glanced behind him, then immediately blocked the hole behind him with soil, and then dug diagonally downward toward the ground. This creates a Z-shaped double burrow. Pang, there was a muffled sound in the ground. Spinnerack's body, hiding on the next floor, slowly lit up with a lavender light. Psychic energy makes Spinnerack's body become light. Spinnerack used agility to increase his speed. Suan watched as ground made no movement and said to Servine, use Leaf Storm directly at the entrance of the hole. Tatsuno. In front of Servine, a large number of flying leaves rotated. These flying leaves quickly form a twister. The tip of the base of the flying leaf twister is like a drill. Normal is spinning crazily on the hole dug by Spinnerack. Mud and sand are thrown in all directions by the rotation of Leaf Storm. FK, Leaf Storm. Guoan looked at the amazing Leaf Storm on the field and exclaimed, is this Servine's level so high? Leaf Storm forced a deep hole into the battlefield and revealed Spinnerack hidden in the mud. Bao Chongliang quickly took out his Pokeball at this time. Come out, Scyther! Guoan quickly shouted, Spinnerack, Baton Pass. A white light rose from Spinnerack's body, and the light linked Spinnerack and Scyther's bodies together. Baton Pass was successfully used. Tana Leaf Storm crashed into Spinnerack's body. Boom! Spinnerack has lost his ability to fight. Just. Scyther chirped and looked at Servine with high spirits. Tip, Servine defeated Spinnerack and gained 355 experience points. Winning 10 consecutive victories in Mohi Base, 1/10, come back, Spinnerack. Guoan took back his Spinnerack, it's up to you, my Spinnerack operation is full. No problem. It would be a shame for your Spinnerack if you lose. Bao Chongliang patted his chest, Scyther and I will use Spinnerack's wool to defeat this Servine. In the stands on the second floor. This Servine is pretty strong. Several young men and women in ranger uniforms lay on the railings watching the battle below. They are all rookies who have just joined the rangers this year and are in their internship period. In addition to following their seniors on missions, they also have to complete many training tasks. It's indeed amazing, but that's where it ends. A boy wearing a hat analyzed, this Servine has just finished using Leaf Storm, and its special attack has been greatly reduced. The Scyther on the opposite side not only has an advantage in attributes, but also has extremely high resistance to grass-type skills, and has also successfully arrived at Spinnerack's agility. Unless this Servine is as strong as Team Joe's Weevil, I can't imagine how Scyther could lose. Xiaoling looked at Suan and said calmly, this is not necessarily the case. The man in the hat glanced at Xiaoling and said in surprise, do you think Servine can win? What's the reason? Xiaoling shook her head slightly, theoretically, Scyther has a good chance of winning this battle. Then why are you still saying not sure? Xiaoling looked at Suan and Servine and said, because of their expressions. Expression. Xiaoling nodded and looked at Servine with a smile. If you look carefully, you should be able to understand that this child's eyes are full of pride and trust in trainer. Its arrogant eyes seem to be saying that it will not lose, and its trainer will not let it lose. Xiaoling said, looking sideways at Chimecho floating beside her, is it Chimecho? Dingling Chimecho, the psychic Pokémon, is the evolved form of Qingling. Qingling can only evolve if his affection and trust in trainer reach a certain level. Trainers who have Pokémon like Chimecho must be a delicate, gentle, and kind-hearted person. Chapter 45. This guy is going to be miserable. Xiao Yu looked at the confident Bao Chongliang and said with amusement. Zhao Ziyi smiled, there is no way, they have never played against Servine, so it is normal for them not to understand. What are you talking about? Dachshund looked at the two of them in surprise, what do you mean? Xiao Yu said mysteriously, you will know right away. Bao Chongliang said loudly, Scyther, quick attack. Just. Scyther was originally a high-speed physical attacker, but now with the blessing of agility, Scyther disappeared almost instantly and pounced directly on Servine. Suan calmly ordered, Servine, Leaf Storm. One fresh trick, eaten all over the world. Tatsuno. A storm of astonishing energy gathered in front of Servine once again. Just. Scyther looked at the storm ahead, instinctively feeling the danger, and stopped instantly. Scyther almost jumped into Leaf Storm. Just. Scyther stepped back. Holy shit! Bao Chongliang looked at the huge flying leaf twister on the field and said in disbelief, "This doesn't look like a weakened leaf storm. FK, you're actually playing devil's advocate." Guoan reacted immediately and said with a speechless expression, "If I had known it was this ability, I shouldn't have let this Servine use Leaf Storm the first time. It's useless to say I knew it earlier." Bao Chongliang shouted nervously, "Scyther, quickly go around from the side." Servine looked at Scyther expressionlessly. Tana. Leaf Storm swept over. After all, Scyther was still in agility's contest condition, so Scyther relied on its own speed to successfully avoid Leaf Storm's attack by brushing against the edge of Leaf Storm. Just. But then Scyther suddenly felt a tightness in his waist. Scyther looked down and saw a vine whip quickly wrapped around Scyther's body. Tana. Servine waved the vine whip and threw it back violently. Scyther was carried into the air by the vine whip. Pang! Servine used vine whip to swing Scyther and slam it into the ground. Just. Scyther fainted instantly under the violent tackle. This is slam. Tip, your Servine automatically comprehends slam during the battle. Tip, Servine defeated Scyther and gained 525 experience points. Winning 10 consecutive victories in Mohi Base, 2/10, what an unexpected surprise. Suan looked at Servine on the court and smiled. Suan's original plan was to have Servine use Wrap to tie up Scyther directly, and then use Magical Leaf to attack. Unexpectedly, Servine actually understood the normal type slam skill during the battle and directly solved the battle. "Did you see that?" Xiao Yu said to Dachan with a proud look on his face. Suan's Servine will not reduce its ability because of Leaf Storm. On the contrary, this Servine will become stronger because of Leaf Storm. Zhao Ziyi added. Because its ability is to play devil's advocate. Hey, don't take my word for it. Xiao Yu looked at Zhao Ziyi dissatisfied. Dachan looked at the two of them and rolled his eyes. "I'm so proud of you two. I almost thought Servine was yours." On the battlefield, Bao Chongliang took back his Pokémon with a wry smile. Sure enough, in the face of absolute strength, all tactics are useless. We lose. Guoan looked at Suan and said directly, "You are really strong." Suan said politely, "No, your tactics are still very powerful. Servine and I have also learned new things." Ding dong, the big screen in the training ground suddenly lit up, and then the big face of a Rotom suddenly appeared. "Dear students, it's almost lights out time. Please go back to your dormitory and rest, then we'll leave first." Looking at Rotom appearing on the screen, Guoan said to Suan, "See you tomorrow." "Great, see you tomorrow." Suan glanced towards the platform on the second floor at this time, and happened to meet Xiaoling's eyes. Xiaoling waved to Suan, who nodded slightly in response, and then walked out with everyone. "Amazing." The young man next to Xiaoling said in surprise, "Hey, do you think it's possible for this kid to volunteer to join our ranger?" Xiaoling held her cheek with her hands and looked at the direction Suan was leaving with a smile. "Can't you just ask? For someone with such potential, I guess the boss won't want to miss it either." "Haha, yes. But speaking of Boss Joe, what are they doing in such a hurry? I heard from people in the central control room that they observed a strong spatial reaction and that space and time might be distorted, so I asked them to take a look. I hope it's okay." Suan's bedroom. After taking a shower, Suan lay on the bed, and Servine jumped on it. "Servine, bring me the books on the table." Tana with a flick of Servine's vine whip, he rolled up the book about rangers on the table. Suan flipped through the book. Hucka Trapinch jumped to the other side of Suan, stuck his big head, and curiously looked at the contents of the book Suan was flipping through. Suan looked at Trapinch's expression and smiled. "Do you want me to tell you?" "Hucky." Trapinch nodded. "Good." Suan said softly, "This is the story of the Rainbow Hero. Legend has it that Ho-Oh will give a rainbow feather to humans who recognize it. A person with a pure heart will undergo 3 tests after receiving the rainbow feather. These 3 tests are to gain the approval of Rei Kao, Suakun, and Entei. After passing the test, the rainbow feather will guide the rainbow hero to Mount Ho-Oh to fight Ho-Oh." The book Suan read was about a trainer who became a rainbow hero and finally became a glorious ranger because of his experiences along the way. After Suan finished telling this story, he didn't feel much at all. He just wondered if he was a pure-hearted person. But Trapinch seems to be yearning for the career of a forest ranger, his little eyes sparkling. Suan didn't seem to care about Trapinch's reaction. According to Trapinch's character, if he heard the story of the forest ranger today, he would want to become a forest ranger, and if he read the story of the investigator tomorrow, he would probably want to become an investigator again. Okay, it's almost time. Do you want to rest? Hucky, Hucky. Trapinch said quickly. Trapinch wants to hear a new story. Suan glanced at the title of the next story. The name of the story is The Guardian of the Forest. The One-Eyed Hero. It's too late today. If tomorrow's training is completed seriously, how about I continue to talk tomorrow night? Hucky. Trapinch thought for a moment and nodded. Servine, turn off the lights. Tana Servine got under the covers, used Vine Whip, and gently pressed the light switch. Tana. It was cold outside, but Servine, who was sleeping in Suan's arms, and Trapinch, who was next to Suan, both felt that the night was very warm. Chapter 46. Deep in the Daxinganling Mountains. By Diao, 3 Pidgeots carried Josuan and others flying in the night sky. Captain, look ahead. Josuan was in front of the 3 of them. Under the moonlight, a humanoid Pokémon wearing armor was standing in front of them. Is that a human? Ranger Asen looked at the Pokémon in front of him in surprise. Josuan clicked on the electronic goggles he was wearing and said, people don't have tails. Rotom, check if there is a record of this Pokémon. Connecting to the database, Roto, according to known data, this Pokémon is not any known Pokémon. However, there are related sighting reports. A screen was automatically projected in front of Josuan. In the picture, the Orbug Pokémon standing in front of them just raised its hand, and a large group of Tauros all disappeared. There is also a picture of this Pokémon flying on the sea, and with a wave of its hand, it rolled up huge waves. The pictures are very blurry and were taken from far away. Unknown Pokémon. Josuan looked at the armor on the Pokémon in front of him and said to himself, this is not like an ordinary unknown Pokémon. Josuan asked Pidgeot under him to approach it. Hello, I am Ranger Josuan. Are you responsible for the spatial fluctuations here? Josuan looked at it without speaking and asked, hello, can you understand human language? Can you tell me who you are? It heard this sentence and said slowly, my name is Mew, you can also call me Orbug Mew. Mew. Hearing these 2 words, Josuan and the other 3 were all stunned. Are you Mew? Orbug Mew frowned, is there any problem? Asen couldn't help but ask, why did you say you are Mew? And why are you called Orbug Mew? Is it because you are wearing armor? Zira. Orbug Mew, what are you doing? Quickly click to fight them off and come back. Professor's voice sounded in Orbug Mew's mind. Orbug Mew's eyes lit up with light blue light. It raised its hand slightly and waved gently. Josuan and the others disappeared instantly. Pang! Outside Mohi base. The 3 Pidgeots hit the tree, and Josuan and the others fell down and rolled to the ground. I'm going, what's going on? Asen rubbed his head in confusion. Josuan looked back and was confused. Mohi training base. They were thrown right back by Orbug Mew. Damn it, that so-called Mew is so powerful. At this time, Asen also noticed their location and couldn't help but screamed. Josuan frowned. Orbug Mew, it seems to be another Pokémon created by some crazy organization. Josuan, we detected that you are at the entrance of the base. What's going on? Josuan's headphones came with questions from colleagues in the central control room. Josuan explained, we just encountered a mysterious Pokémon, which is suspected to be a man-made product. I suspect that the spatial fluctuations detected by the detection station may be caused by it, but just in case, I plan to check again. Copy that, stay safe. Josuan and the others went to the previous location again. This time, the detection devices they carried told them that everything around them was normal. So tonight's incident was ultimately determined to be an energy reaction caused by the artificial Pokémon Orbug Mew. As for how Orbug Mew should be dealt with, Jo Sunhui will write a report according to the process and report it to the superior. If the headquarters wants to investigate, they will send someone to cooperate. Without investigation, the file will be temporarily sealed. Inside the spaceship. Professor Zhang, it seems you have made a discovery. The back of a man appeared on the communication screen inside the spacecraft. Yes, Mr. Murong. We found the unknown. Next, we just need to set up energy shielding devices around here, and then open the space cracks, so that we can use the power of unknown to resurrect Ho-Oh from that rainbow feather. Murong said calmly, I hope your plan will succeed. Don't worry, Mr. Murong, I have gained valuable experience from Orbug Mew. This time, we will definitely succeed. I understand, then I'll wait for your good news. The call is disconnected. Father. Orbug Mew's voice suddenly sounded. They don't seem to recognize my name? Why is that? Professor Zhang looked at Orbug Mew and said, Of course you are Mew. You are the Pokémon I created by extracting Mew's genes. To a certain extent, you are Mew. And the armor you wear can enhance your strength. So, you are stronger than the real Mew. Orbug Mew showed a puzzled expression, the real Mew. Then, am I fake? Professor Zhang shook his head, of course you are not fake, you are an existence beyond Mew. Don't think too much, go and rest. After watching Orbug Mew leave, the young man wearing glasses said, Teacher, Orbug Mew's self-awareness seems to be getting stronger and stronger. Is this a good thing? Professor Zhang said calmly, the power of Pokémon exists to serve us. As long as they are obedient, it doesn't matter whether they have self-awareness or not. At the bottom of the spaceship, Orbug Mew returned to his room, raised his head, and looked at where Professor Zhang was. Orbug Mew, please lie down. Orbug Mew withdrew his gaze and then lay down on the table in the room, letting the staff around him insert a large number of tubes into his body. Orbug Mew closed his eyes. My existence doesn't matter. Chapter 47. Mohi Base, Training Ground. The training camp officially started. In Pokémon battles, the most important thing is physical strength. Without physical support, your Pokémon won't be able to fight for a long time. Their skill release will be slower. Skills that can be avoided originally will be unable to be avoided due to lack of physical strength. In the middle of the playground, Instructor Joe held a loudspeaker to encourage the runners and Pokémon. Suan adjusted his breathing slightly, and then said to Trapinch and Servine beside him, Come on, Trapinch, Servine. Hakatana. At this time, Instructor Joe looked at a boy who was getting farther and farther away from the large group and shouted, What's the matter with you? Your Pokémon hasn't given up yet, are you about to give up? Are you going to let your Pokémon fight alone? Don't want. The lagging boys gritted their teeth and persisted. Coach, can you take a rest? My Munchlax really can't run anymore. A boy looked at Munchlax lying on the ground and shouted to the instructor. Rest. Instructor Joe roared angrily, during the battle, do you also ask your rival to give your Pokémon a rest? Will your rival hold back because the Pokémon he is going to fight is Munchlax? Remember, in the final stage of the Pokémon battle, the competition is all about will. It's the persistence to win. Why do the Pokémon in those classic battles fall down time and time again and then stand up again in battle? It's because they never give up. Munchlax's trainer knelt down and helped Munchlax up. Don't give up, Kirby. As long as you stick to it, you can eat as much as you want for lunch. Kirby. Food gave Munchlax the strength to get back on his feet. After the run, everyone was as tired as Ditto normal and collapsed on the ground. Instructor Joe stepped forward with a loudspeaker and looked at everyone with a smile, this is the warm-up. Come to the training ground with me. FK. Xiao Yu looked desperate and said, aren't you even going to give me a break? My legs are shaking so much. Su An's performance was pretty good since she had been practicing running with Trapinch during her vacation. I thought you would have good stamina. Su An looked at Xiao Yu lying on the ground with some surprise. Fire! Ponyta then lay down next to Xiao Yu and let him hug her back. Thank you, Ponyta. Xiao Yu climbed on Ponyta's back. After Ponyta confirmed that Xiao Yu was holding him firmly, he stood up. After Xiao Yu adjusted his breathing, he weakly asked, when did you have this illusion? Su An looked at Xiao Yu being carried away by Ponyta and said speechlessly, because I thought you would often run with this kid. But now I understand why your physical strength is so poor. Xiao Yu lay on Ponyta's neck and said, actually, my physical strength was pretty good before. But since I got Ponyta, I have to ride Ponyta every time I go to the supermarket to buy a bottle of Coke, so that's how it is now. As Xiao Yu was talking, an assistant teacher shouted over here, hey, that person sitting on Ponyta, get down. Xiao Yu immediately rolled off Ponyta's body with a grimace. Fire! Ponyta glanced over there, and then got close to Xiao Yu's body. In this way, Xiao Yu can rely on Ponyta to leave. Although most fire Pokémon look very naughty and lively, they are actually very gentle at heart. In the training ground, Instructor Joe looked at everyone and said, the next step is to avoid training and conduct contest category according to the school. The machine in front of you is a skill simulator. It can simulate thunder shock, ember, leafage, or mud shot skill attacks. From now on, your Pokémon must stand in this circle and dodge, or use skills to block, each Pokémon, dodge 10 times, then switch. In the first round, everyone could barely dodge or attack. But when the second round begins, the gap in Pokémon begins to show. Like now. Tana Servine threw out his Vine Whip and quickly knocked down a piece of mud that was shot at him, but Tanaka's Meowth was directly hit by a thunder shock in the position next to Servine. Of course, the power of the machine is very small and will not cause much harm to Pokémon. Huck a Trap Inch, stand still and hit it with Mud Slap no matter what skill it is shooting at. The Solosis that Suan had paid special attention to was also very strong. It floats in place, and whenever a skill hits it, it uses its own mental power to send those skills flying towards it into mid-air. For example, skills like Leafage or Mud Slap can all be immobilized. Outside the training ground, the teaching assistants are recording the status of each student. Although it's the first day, the gap between these students is still very obvious. Asen turned the pen in his hand. Xiaoling looked at the data she recorded and said, indeed, especially the 4 in the first tier, their Pokémon have a very obvious gap with other Pokémon in terms of strength and performance. After a morning of training, Xiaoling initially divided the 50 students into 3 echelons based on their performance. There are 4 in the first echelon. There are 10 in the second echelon. The rest are all in the third echelon. Asen walked to Xiaoling's side and looked at the 4 people in the first echelon. Name, Su An School, Suni Shore No. 1 Middle School. Pokémon, Trap Inch, Servine. Name, Xianghui School, Mohi High School. Pokémon, Growlithe. Name, Li Yao School, Zhongshan No. 1 Middle School. Pokémon, Solosis. Name, Yangchuan School, Yangcheng Pokémon Middle School. Pokémon, Heracross, Carablast, Joltik. Asen noticed that Suan's information was circled separately, so he asked curiously, why are he circled alone? Xiaoling looked at Suan and his Pokémon on the training ground and said, I talked to the teacher at their school, so I know more about him. Judging from the power of the skills displayed by his Pokémon, he is likely to be about the same strength as our trainee rangers. Oh! Asen looked at Suan in surprise. So smart! Chapter 48. The morning was for Pokémon and trainer performance training, and the afternoon started directly with actual combat. Base versus battlefield. Josun looked at the crowd and said, next we will have a contest category battle. Come forward when your name is called. Xiao Yu versus Wang Dong. Upon hearing their names, Xiao Yu and Wang Dong stepped forward at the same time. Gu Tao versus Chen Heibo. Among the team, the boy leading Munchlax and a boy carrying Wartortle came out. Wang Dacheng versus Wu Fei. When Dacheng heard his name, he said to Pig Knight beside him, let's go. Stir-fried. The last one is Suan and Yang Chuan. After Zhou Suan reported the first round's lineup, he said, others are free to watch the battle. It was said that they were free to watch the game, but everyone's eyes were on Suan and Yang Chuan. Yang Chuan is not tall, and is delicate and graceful. This guy is so unlucky that he met Suan in the first scene. Zhao Ziyi and Tanaka discussed while looking at Yang Chuan, who was on the playing field with Suan. After listening to what the two of them said, Yang Chuan-san, who also came over to watch the match, suddenly became unhappy. Who are you looking down on? It's not yet certain who will lose and who will win. Zhao Ziyi looked at the man who spoke and said, I'm not targeting you, it's just Suan's battle. You should have seen it too, right? I've seen it, he is really powerful. But do you know who Yang Chuan is? Zhao Ziyi showed a puzzled expression, who is it? The feather insect gym in the western region. Zhao Ziyi nodded, I know. It's one of the 8 major pavilions in the southwest region. Zhao Ziyi said and suddenly reacted. Damn it, he can't be the child of the owner of the Feather Insect Hall, right? Do you think? The boy who spoke looked proud and said, Heracross's father is the king of insects. You can see for yourself how strong they are. On the battlefield. The person in charge of this battle is Xiaoling. Xiaoling watched Suan and Yang Chuan enter the stage and said, "This game is 1 vs 1, please release your Pokémon. Go, here across. Here a race, here across attribute, bug/fighting level, 26 ability, insect premonition individual value qualifications, HP, 30, attack, 31, defense, 26, special attack, 25, special defense, 23, speed, 31, skills, tackle, leer, arm thrust, fury attack, endure, bug attack, horn attack, struggle bug, / hereditary skills, harden, flail props carried, momentum belt." The statistics of this Heracross are quite advantageous. With an individual value of 2V and a HP of 30, it can be said to be a quasi 3V Pokémon. Servine, be careful, rival is very strong today. Tana Heracross, don't use the struggle bug skill for a while, remember. Yang Kawa already knew about Servine's ability, so when the battle started, he also gave Heracross a heads up. The struggle bug will reduce rival's level 1 special attack, but under the effect of playing devil's advocate, it will actually increase Servine's offensive ability. Heracross stood on the battlefield with a serious look and nodded. Xiaoling said directly, "The game begins. Heracross, straight up, horn attack." At the beginning of the game, Yang Kawa and his Heracross showed a very aggressive side. Leaf Storm. Tatsuno. Servine watched Heracross pounce on him and used his ultimate move without hesitation. Heracross, endure, just rush over. Yang Chuan quickly ordered. Grass-type Pokémon are best at fighting wars of attrition, not to mention Servine, who has the ability to play devil's advocate. Yang Chuan knew that if he wanted to win, he had to fight quickly. Heracross didn't hesitate at all and plunged into Leaf Storm. In the center of the storm, the raging flying leaves hit Heracross. Heracross resisted the damage, moved forward with firm eyes, and then rushed directly out of the vortex of Leaf Storm. Wow! Awesome, he actually rushed out. What a strong Heracross! Seeing this scene, Zhao Ziyi and others exclaimed in amazement. "Don't scream!" Yang Chuan's classmates next to him showed a calm expression. This is the strength of Heracross. Come on, Heracross! Hera! Suan looked at Heracross rushing towards Servine and immediately said, "Rap!" Tatsuno. On Servine's body, the Vine Whip was quickly thrown out. Heracross grabbed the Vine Whip that was shot at him and jumped forward. The pointed horn on Heracross's head attacked Servine's body. Tatsuno. Servine was knocked out and Heracross also fell to the ground. Servine. Suan looked at Servine who fell to the ground and called out. Tatsuno. Servine shook his head and stood up again. So strong. Suan looked at Heracross who also stood up again and sighed. There are definitely many capable geniuses in this world. Yang Kawa grinned, Heracross, encore. Heracross used horn attack again towards Servine. Vine Whip jumps away and uses Leaf Storm directly. Tatsuno. The two Pokémon are now very close, and using Leaf Storm directly will definitely interrupt them. Servine looked at Heracross rushing towards him and immediately used Vine Whip to hit the ground. Vine Whip is like an arch bridge normal, sending Servine from Heracross's head to the other side of the field. Tatsuno. Servine disconnected the Vine Whip and used Leaf Storm the moment he landed. At the same time Heracross changed direction and rushed into the storm again. This time, Leaf Storm's damage was even more shocking than before. The sash on Heracross's head lit up slightly. Heracross bursts out of nowhere. The raging Leaf Storm did not let Heracross stop. Servine, Magical Leaf. Heracross, just use Bug Sweep. The bug attack will reduce rival's speed, but when used on Servine, it will increase Servine's speed. However, the damage of this move is even more shocking. Bug-type skills are twice as effective against grass types. Hera with a low roar, Heracross withstood the magical leaf's damage and pounced on Servine. Chapter 49. In mid-air, magical leaf bombarded Heracross. Pang! In a violent explosion, the smoke caused by the magical leaf enveloped Heracross's body. Under the tense gaze of everyone around, Heracross rushed out of the smoke and crashed into Servine. Deny. Heracross's impact caused Servine and Heracross to fall out together. Servine. Heracross. Suan and Yang Chuan spoke at the same time. Tatsuno. The leaves on Servine's back moved slightly. Servine directly used Synthesis. Heracross staggered to his feet. Yang Chuan gritted his teeth. Heracross, bug attack. Hera. Tatsuno. Servine, who had recovered his physical strength under Synthesis, whipped Heracross up almost as soon as he jumped up. Snapped. Heracross was knocked away by Vine Whip and lost the ability to fight. Tip: Servine defeated Heracross and gained 855 experience points. Servine reached level 26. Servine automatically learned a new skill, Leech Seed. Winning 10 consecutive victories in Mohi Base, 3/10 race, Servine attribute Grass level 26 ability to sing the opposite tune. Individual value qualifications: HP 31, Attack 31, Defense 31, Special Attack 31, Special Defense 31, Speed 31, Skills: Tackle, Leer, Vine Whip, Wrap, Leaf Storm, Slam, Clear Fog, Light Screen, Synthesis, Leech Seed. Hereditary skills: Grassy Terrain, Magical Leaf. Servine reached level 26 and learned new skills. Suan looked at Servine and said, "Thank you for your hard work, Servine." Tana Yangkawa took Heracross back. Yangkawa sighed, "It's too fierce. It's not rival at all." Suan looked at Yang Chuan and said, "Your Heracross is also very strong. To be honest, this is the first time I have encountered a Pokémon that can withstand Leaf Storm twice. I'm looking forward to playing against you again." Yang Chuan smiled, "It's easy to say, but we may not lose next time." Bang bang bang, there was applause all around. Yangkawa walked towards his friend. "It's embarrassing." "No way, the fight was really exciting." Yangkawa's friends said one after another, "That's right, and that Servine's ability is too restrained by Heracross's skills, otherwise, there would definitely be a chance." "Yeah, but this Servine's use of Vine Whip is really amazing. It's like pole vaulting." Zhao Ziyi watched Suan walk back and said, "Okay, I was worried that you would lose at first." Suan looked in the direction of Yang Chuan. "He's really good. It's more than awesome." Zhao Ziyi said to Suan, "He is the son of the Yuchong gym leader. I wonder why he has conquered so many bug-type Pokémon. There are countless gyms in Daxia, large and small, but the only ones that are truly influential are the 8 gyms in each major region. Only by obtaining the officially recognized gym badge can you be qualified to challenge the region tournament. The Yuchong gym is one of the 8 gyms in the western region." While Suan and the others were chatting, several other games also ended one after another. After Suan and their round ended, a new round of competition began again. This time Suan and Xiao Yu watched the game together. The second game that interests Suan is the battle between Li Yao and Solosis. His rival Earl Dervish Pokémon is Murkrow. In terms of level, Solosis is level 28, and Murkrow is only level 19. There is a huge gap. But Murkrow has Dark type. Pokémon scholars have discovered through research that Dark-type Pokémon have a special energy in their bodies that makes them completely immune to psychic damage. In the same way, there are also Normal-type Pokémon that can avoid Ghost-type damage. Xiaoling will also serve as the referee for this game. Li Yao vs Wang Yi. Game start. Wang Yi directly ordered, "Murkrow, wing attack." Murkrow flapped his wings and quickly hit Solosis. "Get away. Who do you think can win this game?" Xiao Yu asked after watching the battle begin. "It should be Wang Yi." Zhao Ziyi looked at Solosis on the playing field and said, "This Solosis has been hiding. I guess it has no other means of attack except psychic skills." "How do you know it doesn't?" Xiao Yu asked rhetorically. Zhao Ziyi rolled his eyes, "If there was one, I would have used it long ago." "Is it Suan?" Suan looked at Solosis's data and nodded slightly. Race: Solosis attribute psychic level 28 ability, dust-proof skills, Psy-Wave, Confusion, Protect, Recover, Light Screen, Reflect, Size Hawk, Ally Switch. This Solosis really only has psychic skills. Instructor. At this time, Li Yao suddenly asked Xiaoling, "We can use everything around here, right?" Xiaoling, "Of course." Li Yao smiled, "That's easy. Solosis, pull up that tree." Only a powerful psychic was released from Solosis, and then he saw a tree outside the battlefield suddenly disappear and appear directly inside the battlefield. "Murkrow, be careful!" Wang Yi exclaimed, and on the battlefield, Solosis used psychic to control the big tree and slam it down towards Murkrow. Murkrow didn't react at all and was thrown to the ground by the tree. Only Solosis controlled the big tree and hit it twice in succession, forcefully hitting Murkrow until he lost the ability to fight. FK. Zhao Ziyi's eyes widened, can you still play like this? Chapter 50. Mohi Base, Canteen. It's really amazing. Zhao Ziyi walked towards Suan and the others with a buffet in his hand. I really didn't expect that I could use Psychic to pick up things off the field to fight against. Xiao Yu was slightly speechless. You've been talking all afternoon, are you so surprised? Are you ignorant? Li Muran glanced at Zhao Ziyi with contempt, then took out his mobile phone and played a video to Zhao Ziyi. There are many similar tactics. Look at Mimikyu versus Tauros. In the video, Tauros used Rock Slide on Mimikyu. Mimikyu jumped up and used Shadow Claw. Shadow Claw did not attack Tauros but grabbed the huge rock that Tauros threw at him. Mimikyu used Shadow Claw to grab the huge rock and smash it directly towards Tauros. So, we still need to learn more and see more of other people's tactics. Zhao Ziyi looked at Li Muran angrily and said, you can shut up if you don't know how to speak. Hey, I'm too lazy to pay attention to you. Li Muran snorted coldly, then took his lunch box and left. After the afternoon training, there is a rest period of 1.5 hours. Suan, what are you going to do later? Suan said naturally, we should go to the training ground. Listening to Suan's words, Xiao Yu and Zhao Ziyi stared at Suan at the same time. What's wrong? Nothing. Xiao Yu sighed, I just suddenly realized that the gap between us and you is not without reason. Enough volume. Zhao Ziyi gave a thumbs up. Suan smiled, I'm leaving first training hall. When Suan brought Trapinch and Servine, he found that there were quite a few people here. Xiang Hui and the others are also there. At this time, Xiang Hui's Hung and Growlithe were sitting on chairs outside the training ground reading books. Suan walked over and took a look. What Xiang Hui was looking at was the collection of ranger heroes and legends on the desk in the dormitory. Are you interested in rangers? Suan stepped forward and said hello. Huka Trapinch waved his front paw at Growlithe beside Xiang Hui. Ouch! Growlithe stood up. Xiang Hui raised his head and looked at Suan and said, yes. The reason why I come here to train is because this is the ranger base. Xiang Hui said and looked at the scenery outside the window. It was already evening. The setting sun shines on the treetops, making everything look golden. This forest is beautiful and mysterious. Celebi, who can travel through time and space, the one-eyed patron saint of the forest, Oliva, who is bigger than the oldest ancient tree. I grew up listening to these stories. Xiang Hui said, lowering his head and looking at the book in his hand. So I hope that one day, my story will be recorded in this book. Suan looked at Xiang Hui's expression and encouraged him slightly, of course you can. Haha. Xiang Hui felt a little embarrassed at this time. Let's go and have a fight. Xiang Hui put the book in his hand on the chair under him. Okay. Suan just planned to try out Servine's new skills. On the battlefield. Xiang Hui looked at Suan and Servine, go right on. Growlithe, Ember. Growlithe took a deep breath before shooting a fireball at Servine. Servine, light screen. Dana in front of Servine, a light screen appeared, perfectly blocking Growlithe's fireball attack. Growlithe, go around, flame wheel. Ouch! Growlithe's body was ignited with flames. Growlithe, enveloped in flames, rushed towards Servine. Leech Seed. Tana Servine flicked his vine whip, and a seed quickly shot into Growlithe's hair. After the seeds touched Growlithe's body, they immediately sprouted vines that wrapped around Growlithe's body like a fishing net. But those vines immediately burned under the effect of the flame wheel, but even so, this move still caused the running Growlithe to stumble. Slam! Tatsuno! Servine's vine whip rolled up Growlithe's body, swung it twice in the air, and then smashed it down toward the ground. Growlithe's eyes were filled with stars from these two blows. Perhaps this technique can be developed a bit more. Suan looked at the scene in front of him and fell into thinking. Leech Seed absorbs energy from the host's body and then feeds it back to the host's body. It is a recovery skill. But Suan, judging from the effect of this move, if used well, it can be used as a means to trap the enemy. Stop, 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 I give up. Xiang Yang looked at Growlithe, who was stunned by Servine, and immediately shouted to Sue and Tana. Servine let go of the vine whip. Ouch! Growlithe stood on the ground and swayed twice, then his body softened and fell directly to the ground. Ouch! Growlithe was clearly beaten badly. Tip: Servine defeated Growlithe and gained 325 experience points. Winning 10 consecutive victories in Mohi Base, 4/10, Suwon said to Servine, "Servine, green grass." Tana under Growlithe's body, green grass sprouts rose. Ouch! Growlithe screamed happily to Servine after feeling the cool feeling underneath her body. Thank you. Thank you Xianghui. You're welcome. The task has made progress again, and Suwon is in a good mood. Training at night is much easier than training during the day. Mohi Base, conference room. The day's battle is being played on the big screen. The two sides fighting are Solosis and Murkrow. Students, during battle, you must learn to use everything around you. Instructor Joe looked at everyone and said, even the enemy's skills. The enemy's skills? How to use them? Good question. Everyone, watch this video. In the video, the two warring parties are an Alakazam and a Nidoking. Nidoking used Thunderbolt to slash Alakazam. Just when the skill was about to hit, Alakazam used Ally Switch. Nidoking was hit by his own skill. Wow! Everyone looked at the content on the video and exclaimed. Joseon pressed pause. That's the simplest example. Starting from the battles between classmates during the day, and then inducing various classic battles for analysis, this is the course in the evening. The day passes slowly like this. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you're notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.